I think you had that backwards. But we are live now.
No, I didn't.
It's kick the tires, light the fires.
No,
Light the
I had it right.
Kick the fires.
Who
Make
cares?
like a tree and get out of here.
Squee,
I
how
don't
many
care.
times?
I don't. Gah! That's just like me pulling out my hair and screaming and foaming at the mouth for the rest of the session.
Oh.
Okay, how's that different from any other session?
Fair enough. Fair enough. You
Wow.
stupid slut.
Everyone's just like,
Wow.
I'm a stupid bitch.
You
Everyone's
stupid
just like,
the live stream is offline. I'm confused.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
everyone's just like, oh hey Nora.
Aw,
There it is,
Uh,
live
that makes
now.
me sad.
All is good. All is good. in
No,
the hood.
Nora never rages and foams at the mouth. She's not rabid.
It
My
seems
poor
like we
baby's
have
so
a
misunderstood.
30-second
She is.
delay this time.
That's good. Well, we need that 3-second delay, unless someone I don't know, does something horribly offensive. We can cut off beforehand.
Yes.
All right. I guess that's my cue.
Unrelated to that, this will be my first session where I will be consuming alcohol while playing. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh.
Oh boy.
snap.
It's just
That'd be as if you were drunk most of the time.
Oh.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna turn on the lights here, and I'll be right back.
Sue's sitting in the dark.
Well, it's getting dim.
Turn on the
sun's
red
getting
light.
high.
Roxanne.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on that dress tonight. Someone
Winston.
dying in the background?
That's
Yes.
I think Inferno.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Inferno, no.
that's what happens when you don't turn the lights on in time.
I'll call 911 and get him over to his place. Not
Okay,
that I know where he
cool.
lives.
Well, did you guys hear me coughing?
Yeah,
Yes.
it sounded like you were like, oh
We
my
heard you
God.
dying. Yes.
Yeah, it all felt like I was dying.
Wow, this got sad.
so we're good.
I feel dead inside.
I feel- Fucking Piph. All right. Okay. Welcome everybody.
Hi.
So when we last left off, through the group threw a little birthday shindig for Tom, who went off in Dreamland for a few days. Was it a day or two? How long was it? Were you out for?
He was out for 5 days. I
5
believe.
days, yeah.
Oh yeah, 5 days. Okay, he was out for 5 days. Off into Dreamland, and when he woke up, they threw a nice, lovely little bash for him.
Yeah.
But and that was very, very lovely. But I will get all of you started with our current objectives. So wait, before I forget, is there any? I don't believe we have any art on Riftyfell for this week. But is there any questions that you guys might have for me, in or out of in character? Ask me in character.
Dear God.
God.
Dear, why do you let bad things happen to good people? Oh, for a second, I was gonna say good
Wow.
things happen to bad people.
Yeah. Why do you?
Zombies are attacking you now.
Why?
Damn it,
No
God!
time
Every
for
time.
theological questions. No zombies.
Every time, God.
No, seriously though. Any questions?
No,
Okay.
not from my-
Not a problem. Then I am going to whisk you guys on over. Not to that map. Woo, and roll 20, not to that map. I gotta start shrinking my maps. No, not there.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You can archive them. That's what I do a lot in the maps. Just archive them. That way you can pull them back out later if you need them.
Well, check out the big brain on Squee.
It's pretty large.
God damn it. Now what's going on? My mouse is freaking out. Stop freaking out. Oh, Grob, where did my map go? There it is.
I see this drinking thing's really working.
I was
out.
about to say the drinking is already
It
showing.
was my mouse. I swear. It couldn't click properly. Yeah, it's not clicking properly. Okay, that's fine.
Inferno,
All right.
are there 3 rocks on this map?
No, there should be only one rock. Look at it.
Good.
All right.
That was the first test.
Okay, so a few days before, about 6 days or so ago, Lavin was contacted by his his agent, I guess you could say mercenary agent, Mr. Denzel Gold, with a very interesting and unique job opportunity. It was to take this strange black pitted rock, or something that looks like petrified coal, as displayed here on the screen, to a location to the east where there is a ley line nexus. And is to bury this thing with a silver spade, wait 3 days, and apparently a great treasure is to be found. Now, the coordinates of this place is in northern, what used to be known as Michigan, back before the time of the cataclysm. In the little red circle on the map, that is exactly where it is. It's a pretty far a ways northeast of Perrin's Post. So, luckily for you, due to you guys having a, if I may quote Cards Against Humanity, a sweet spaceship, the travel to that location is not going to be as long, arduous, or hazardous as it normally is if one had to go by boat or foot. So my question to you, my friends, my players, how do you want to start this session? Do we want to start with the Rhapsody headed towards this location, or at an earlier point, or at a later point of you landing in at this coordinates? What would you prefer?
If I understand correctly, the idea was to go here, we're going to do something, and then we're going to wait around to see if anything happens, right?
For 3 days, yes.
Right.
You were to bury it, wait 3 days, and then something is supposed to be revealed, some great treasure.
So my thought was, like, story-wise, like if we started already there or getting to there, and then if there was anything anyone wanted to do, they could do it during those 3 days. Since we're going to have to wait
I think
around
that's
anyway.
a great idea. Yeah, sure. Wonderful.
Sounds good to me.
Wonderful. So we'll start this session with the Rhapsody shooting through the air, across high up, about 20 miles high into the atmosphere, shooting across the sky, high enough that individuals from the ground would only be able to see it with a very high-powered microscope and looking at the particular direction of where the Rhapsody is headed. But thankfully not too high that the orbital defenses that surround Earth would blast you out of the sky. It is, we're going to start this at approximately 1 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. And as those of you who are either in the cockpit or looking out the variety of windows, transparent metal that makes up the metals of the Rhapsody, you would see that as you approach this location in northern Michigan, it is a there's something peculiar up in the atmosphere. You see a lot of cloud cover up until approximately 50 miles away from where you're supposed to head. And all of a sudden, the clouds begin to break. And you can even see from your particular vantage point almost a small pocket in which inclement weather doesn't appear to be affecting, or it seems to be washing it over. Imagine like the river of a water rushing down a river. Oh my God, I'm never going to drink again. Water rushing down a river, and there's a rock in the center, and the water kind of courses around that rock. Well, that's kind of what the cloud cover is doing to this location. And also, you have yourselves a few opportunities as far as landing. You do know that up here in northern Michigan, there's only very few small villages, small areas of civilization. And the last one that you passed is easily in your distance and can't be seen. This area doesn't seem to have any large group of witnesses. And there seems to be quite a bit of open territory. You can land a mile or two away from this ley line nexus point, or you could be super safe, and there is a large body of water. If you choose to zoom in on the map, you would see as I outline with my little tool. I just want to make sure I'm in the right layer. Yeah. Right here to the southeast of the location is a very deep river, or you could rest the Rhapsody along the coast of the water as well and go by foot. Or like I said, you could land in the clearing very, very close to the ley line nexus point. What would you prefer? How would you prefer to land the Rhapsody?
I'm tempted to go with the clearing.
Well, here's an interesting question.
That'd be interesting.
Has anyone from Perrin's crew learned enough yet to operate the ship?
Not quite yet. Morgan McLaughlin has been training with Alicia how to pilot, and he has the fundamentals okay as far as keeping trajectory and height. But I would argue one of the most complicated things with any form of aircraft is the taking off and the landing. And Alicia would say privately to one side that he's still a little too new at it to do it by himself.
Got it. Not the kind of thing we want to risk. Oops, your ship's gone. Because my thought was the safest option would be to kind of do like a drop off and then fly it back up instead of trying to hide it somewhere for 3 days. But if that's not possible, then perhaps we should look for a place that is out of the way, not very visible.
I mean, we could still do that and just have Alicia pilot, and still, have McLaughlin learn the controls from her.
It's true if she's okay with doing that. I mean, honestly, all she'd have to do is fly up out of view and then just sit there and hover and then go relax or something.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm pretty much down with that. I don't. Yeah.
Piph?
Mhm.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
I'm good with that.
Okay. That is what we shall do.
Yes. All right.
Wonderful. Give me just 2 seconds.
I hope he rolls a D100. It rolls like a natural 100, and he goes, "Well, the party's dead."
Oh,
Yes.
Bad landing.
That's what we're
Wouldn't
all.
that be mean?
Yeah.
I'd laugh.
Sure, you'd
I've
laugh.
been wanting to try out my new carpet salesman character.
I'm a sick person, Bernie. You
It's
should know this
been
by now.
3 years. Time to roll up new characters.
Or he even goes more generic. A rock falls on your ship, you all die.
Oh.
The ship was monster. It ate you. You're dead.
You're in its guts.
All right. Sorry. I just. Anyways. No. So I'm sorry. I got a text message. My car insurance is over at my old address, so I have to go pick it up tomorrow night. Anywho, sorry. Did you guys decide to land in the clearing then?
Yeah, I believe what we were wanting to do would be to land somewhere quickly and then have Alicia just fly it back up
And just
Okay.
cover
and then
up.
kind of wait up there.
Okay. So who's going to disembark?
I would. Though, and I keep forgetting to ask this. I would like to use the new hover cycle, but I don't have stats for it.
Okay. I can get that for you. You won't need the stats this very second.
Sure. Then I don't need it this very second. That's fine. I mean, as far as I just would like to disembark with it.
Okay. Well, you know what? While I'm getting the stats here real quick, can just let me know which players and which NPCs you'd like to come off with you. If you have no preference and leave it up to the NPCs, that's fine.
All of the players
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I hope so.
NPCs.
I vote Bear.
Yeah, Bear can come. Blink.
Sure.
Yeah,
Blank. Basilisk and Ezex will probably want to go because they don't like being cooped up on the ship.
sounds
Sure.
good.
Okay.
how about is he's probably still around,
Marlis?
but
Marlis
the
Scotch?
I'm terrible with names. The the one who's also interested in magical items.
Yeah, that's Marlis Stotch. Yeah.
Yeah, Marlis.
Awesome. Well, yeah, no, actually, I'd hate to slow down this session here right now. I'll get you the stats, and if you need them for combat or something like that, or
Yeah,
you need
I
to
have-
race around or something like that, that's fine.
That's more than
if you
fine.
have access to the Northern Gun 2 book as well, you can find them yourselves. But if not, no big deal. Well, I'll get that. I just don't want to. I don't want to take a break.
No, tell you what, I
while
think
search
I
around
have
for
that somewhere. So just keep on going. I'll try and track it down. And either way, I trust it.
Okay.
I'm good.
No worries. Okay. So let me just. Oh my goodness. There it is. So as the Rhapsody hovers over the clearing, there's not a cloud in the sky. As early in this afternoon, the sun shines bright on what appears to be a very humble, very simple clearing, mostly made of long wild grasses, with a brook cutting through from east to west. There are some cliffs since this is close to the ocean side. In fact, as each of you disbark, you can hear the soft roaring of the waves of the lake kind of crashing upon the shore distantly. In this entire clearing, there appears to be only a single simple pine tree that climbs up to about 15 feet tall on top of this hillside that looks perfectly along this brook. Since it's in the middle of the day, it's very difficult to see, but those of you who are magically or psychically affected can also sense the presence of a ley line, concentrated magical mystical energy. And after getting yourselves acclimatized to this area, even those who are not psychically enhanced, for example, as Lavin, would be able to see a very thin, light blue, transparent wall, approximately 8 feet tall, course across the landscape as well. One running east to west, and another one running approximately southeast to northwest. As you all disembark now, am I assuming those of you who are leaving the ship, the safety of the ship? Al already says he's in this hover cycle, but is it fair to assume that you guys would put on some body armor and keep some energy weapons close at hand, or do you want to forego that precaution?
Oh, I
know
definitely will.
Patrick is suiting up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be suiting up.
I'll
Okay.
wear the standard stuff, like not my Power Ranger, but just a normal. equivalent.
Normal body armor that you have. Okay,
Yeah.
great, wonderful.
Same here. Just normal body armor.
So each of you disembark along with Blink, Bear, Ezex, and Basilisk. Jalea, Zoe, Morgan. Oh, sorry, Marlis as well. Marlis is disembarking, while the rest of the NPCs and your traveling companions have stayed upon the Rhapsody until they get the coast clear. Obviously, the Rhapsody will be hovering very nearby, so it is a simple radio message away from your current landing area in order to have them land and disembark. So don't feel that the NPCs like August or Jalea or Yasmin or the rest would be completely inaccessible. And they might play a part in these next 3 days, of course. Now, Patrick, I would like you to, I have a question for you, then I have a D100 I'd like you to roll. You've mentioned over we've had some time that we've kind of just narratively gone over. And you
Okay.
mentioned this in the past about interesting in reading about that Spirits of Light book that you found in that hidden temple quite some time back in the
Yes.
adventure. How much of that do you think your character would have reasonably read? Do you think he would have finished it from cover to cover? It's about a 200-page tome.
200 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I actually did spend a few in-game days doing that instead of doing magic
Sure.
research.
Oh, and also that book that you picked up from Skyscape as well. The one also having to deal with spirits of light, but that had more of a first-hand accounts. And Marlis Stotch himself suggested you read the 22nd chapter. Is that something that you probably would have read too in your downtime?
The chapter, yes. I think the rest of it probably not.
Well then, I'd like you to roll a D100. This has to do with this is a lore skill. I would like you, specifically for monsters and demons. Although, for monster and demon lore. And I'd like you to make it easier by 25, since you have quite a bit of academic background in this particular area.
I'm supposing it caps out at 98.
Oh, you better believe it. Okay. All right. So, Patrick, this area, this ley line nexus, for lack of a better word, there are areas on the Earth where reality begins to thin a little bit. And sometimes, because of the coming of the ley line nexuses, sometimes it irrefutably changes the landscape permanently. For example, that ever-burning forest near the beginning of the campaign when you came across, that had a serious interdimensional influence. But this is something even more. This is almost like a link to another place where the reality between the two places thins out, and it's much closer to another world, another dimension than other ley line nexus points. In fact, in areas such as this, due to its serenity and the very fact that you can feel a presence on you, like on your chest, and it's not just Patrick, it's all of you. After a few minutes of disembarking from the Rhapsody and being here in this throng, this area, all of you, even Lavin, in the past have faced, in one form or another, supernatural evil. Evil so awful, torturous, and corrupted, it's not just a natural reaction from you of disgust or terror. It was like a weight on your chest, a presence, something other that would have affected you. Either Lavin while you were hunting down a monstrous contract, and for the rest of the party, my goodness, you've come across a fair share of supernatural evil beings. This is the opposite. If supernatural evil created dread and a sickness in the pit of your stomach and the heaviness on your heart, this is a lightness in your head, a freeness in your heart, an easiness on your stomach and spirit. If Patrick, this is pretty much the presence of supernatural good. And in that terminology, this is almost like sacred ground, consecrated ground, blessed ground. As you continue to explore and take in the area, you notice that the wildlife itself is quite serene. The birds sing happily. The babbling brook, if any of you decide to investigate it, you see it teeming with fish, and you see no predatory animals, no wolves, no bears, no mountain lions, no cougars. Instead, the more docile prey species, deer and beaver and rabbits. So now here in this space, do you have any questions, or what would you like your characters to do?
So we all kind of feel this.
Oh, every single person who is stepping on the ground feels that light, peaceful presence in this area. And also, like I said, for those of you who know magic or psychic, that little hum, that buzz, that you're near not just a ley line, but a ley line nexus point, a power point. PowerPoint slide. No, just kidding.
I think Ellie would pull off her helmet.
Sure. And as you pull off your helmet, a cool breeze hits your face, and fresh air coming off from the nearby lakeside, and you can hear much better now too. Your face is freer, and everything is just the rustling of the grass with the wind. You know, the little bubble, the trickles of water as that brook plays on by. The song of the birds. Yeah, very, very, very peaceful.
This place is pretty great.
Yeah.
Too great.
Too great.
Al would probably take his helmet off too, seeing Ellie do it. He'd
Sure.
keep it close by, like on the hover cycle, but he'd take it
Sure.
off.
Sure, yeah. Your lungs and your eyes and your ears are one with this nature.
I feel like an elf.
I don't know what that even means, Ellie says, looking back at you.
I don't know either.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like running, says Ezex as he starts hightailing it up, down, kind of the hill's edge towards the brook itself, kind of hooting a little bit. Basilisk kind of laughs a little bit and runs along with him. Kind of just both of the gentlemen getting their exercise after being in the Rhapsody for several days. Soon you can see the figure of a terrier-like dog boy and a large, bulky, well, not bulky, but a large, muscly, bald man. Kind of breaks the sereneness a little bit, as Ezex in particular is hooting quite foully.
How majestic.
Al would say,
Bear looks at Ellie and blinks. Not the words I would use, but yes.
Al would kind of like brush his hair out a little bit because it's been cooped up in the helmet, even though it's not been that long, and attach the helmet somewhere. And he'd say, I think I'm going to put this through its paces, see what it can do. I'll stay close, but I'm going to go give this thing a roll.
What's Tom and Patback doing?
Patrick looks like he's deep in thought, but generally doesn't make any particular actions that seem to be like that he's feeling down or anything. He's not on edge at the moment.
Marlis would. Oh, sorry. I heard Burn. Take a breath. My bad. You answer first, my friend.
Tom would have disappeared back into the behemoth, grabbed a folding chair, which he uses usually for fishing, and grabbed his guitar. And he would be strumming.
Excellent.
Should I make a skill roll?
Yeah, sure. Let's see how well you play.
All right.
Would he have to take his gloves off?
Absolutely.
I've never wondered about that before. I assume you'd have to.
Oh, of course. You can't
I
play a
will.
guitar with. It's like playing a guitar with fucking winter
Gauntlets.
gloves on, or gauntlets. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult.
You could do slide guitar, maybe.
I missed by 5%.
Okay, well maybe still. You know what? Even though maybe you're not in the best position for this, you strum along a few tunes, you make a few mistakes, but I don't think anyone's really in the mood to criticize you at the moment. Blink is most certainly not, nor is Marlis. In fact, many individuals seem to appreciate the little strums of the light strings kind of hitting the air and floating away down towards the brook and the cliffs and the ley line.
Sweet.
Marlis Stotch moves next to Ellie and to Patrick, and he says in his short clipped speech, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I can feel something here, something uplifting. I've only had this sensation in a particular area involving a ley line once other, far, far to the south in a desert area. But it was very similar to this. This might be, he says, for as silly as it might sound, a holy place, something guarded by some sort of force or some other dimension. And he brings his hand over towards the very, very thin, transparent ley line.
Are we trespassing? Are we doing bad by being here? Ellie says, like, looking around.
Well, I don't think so, he says. As long as we don't begin any sort of black ritual or tear down or burn or destroy this place, I don't suppose. Obviously.
What about burying black rocks?
Well, this is where things get peculiar. He says, from what I've heard from the others and what you've told me, Mr. Planter, is that the elderly man who passed away, who imparted this stone to you, implored that you bury it into this place. So and he was followed by some sort of urge, some sort of dream, perhaps, or calling. It might be a vision, and partaking in visions is, well, a little risky, but I can't see any reason why it would befoul this place. At least I hope. But I guess that's just a fancy way of saying I don't know.
Patrick, you're awfully quiet, Ellie says, looking kind of nervous.
Patrick nods to you.
What do you make of all this?
I've never really been at a holy ground before. This is interesting sensation. Well, I'm glad that it's a known phenomenon.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a common occurrence, but yes, I've experienced this once before in my long adventuring career. Of course, we only stopped by as a small respite. It uplifted our spirits, and I do recall sleeping in at least that place. It was quite soothing, no nightmares or anything. But then we had to move on, bigger business. I don't know what staying here for a longer period of time would be. All I know is ley line nexuses tend to be unpredictable when it comes to certain events happening.
Patrick nods. I know that far too well.
Are we going to be okay to be here?
Well, if we are to bury this object and wait for 3 days, I don't suppose we'd have a choice. Luckily, we do have, and he kind of points up to the sky, rapid and powerful backup.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
As long as everyone stays on guard and not touch items that you find around.
Mm-hmm. I'll ask permission first.
Please.
You see Al pass way off in the distance doing wheelies and stuff.
Yes. And I also found Al's stats while we were doing this. I gave him an info dump in Skype.
Thank you, sir.
I just like
No
to
problem.
like imagine that you just hear like and like Al passing by like the stream place, and then the three of them are just like watching.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that.
this-
I like that. That works.
this cycle-
drums a little bit. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say this cycle. One of the reasons why I really liked it is it was designed to do tricks and maneuvers and things like that. So
Yeah,
Al
tight
would
turns.
certainly be trying to put it through its paces.
And he has a lot of. Why don't you roll me piloting on that?
Sure.
Wait,
I
hold
hope
up
he
a
beefs
second.
it.
My question
Mhm.
is, how much through its paces do you want to do? How much do you want to push the envelope here, homie?
Oh, Al doesn't do things half-heartedly.
Okay, make it harder by 30. If you fail, it doesn't mean you
Into
crash.
the
but
Right.
danger
We're going to
zone.
determine
Hilarious.
how much through this.
Hilarious. So think of the comedy.
Got it.
Into the danger zone.
I fail by 15.
Okay, so you do a few really tight turns, and it's almost like you want to try a wheelie, but you kind of start a wheelie for lack of a better word. In other words, just focusing on the back thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
When you try that though, things get really wobbly, and so you steer yourself clear again and be like, maybe I'll try this again another time. Make tight turns, vault over smaller rocks and areas, not smaller rocks, larger rocks, course over the brook without any sort of problem. So you are putting this thing through its paces, and
So
from the distance, the viewer can definitely see him making some pretty advanced maneuvers, just not super advanced because I don't know, you're kind of feeling out of control at the moment. You know, certain speeds and elements and all that good stuff.
yeah, it makes sense. So if I really wanted to do what this thing is very capable of, it would take some time and getting used to and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
what
That's
I
anything,
understand? Okay.
right? It's like
Sure.
it's like having a brand new Lamborghini, right? The first time
I
you
wouldn't
take it
know
on
what
the
that's
Autobahn,
like.
you're gonna, yeah, me neither. I do. No, just kidding. No, with any sort of high performance vehicle, you gotta try it out a little bit. You gotta get used to it, and yeah.
Cool.
But yes, so with the exception of this kind of serene atmosphere being punctuated, if not by the rough housing of Ezex and Basilisk, or the stunt driving of Al, sorry, I think I might have interrupted the conversation that Patrick was having with Ellie. My apologies.
Let's see, where was I? We were talking about the area and things like that. I'm not
Well,
talking.
you're saying, as long as we don't touch or break anything, and then Ellie said, "Oh, I'll be sure to ask for permission first."
Right.
Mm.
Patrick would actually look back. If you do see something, do tell me.
Well, of course.
Yes. Other than that, be careful and I guess take in the scenery.
Yeah.
Before you finished your sentence, Ellie's already like wandering off.
Oh, okay, excellent. We'll get to your wandering in a moment. I'll have you roll a few dice. But in the meantime, anything else anyone would like to do at this moment?
Find a spot to dig a hole.
Okay. Do you want to take a spot by the brook, by that single tree, a very open area in the field, underneath one of the cliffs, perhaps in the woods?
If
what
the
would you want?
instructions weren't specific, then by
No,
the
it
tree.
wasn't specific. It just said in this spot, right? So by your presence, that feeling along your heart, you kind of feel that this is probably the spot he's talking about. So it's really a matter of preference to you,
Near
or
the
what
tree.
you think is best. Near the tree? Okie dokie. You go over, you wander on over to near the base of the tree, only about a foot away. I'm assuming you take out your silver spade and start digging.
Mhm.
You dig, we'll say a solid, maybe a foot and a half into the soft earth. Its rich topsoil is put aside, and you have
2 feet.
2 feet. Okay.
The instructions were 2 feet.
They
I wrote
were
it down.
2 feet. Good,
Yeah.
good. I definitely was not testing you. Excellent.
2 feet.
You eyeball it to a very sound 2 feet, and now you have a large 2-foot hole before you.
Patrick, does this look like 2 feet to you?
Patrick comes over, takes out a distance finder.
It's 1 foot and 10.5 inches.
All right, a couple more inches.
Okay, with the assistance of Patrick's handy dandy laser distancer, you get an exact 2 feet. Now, largish hole. His is now a largish. It's relative, a 2-foot deep hole, maybe about a half a foot wide, is now in front of you.
All right.
You see his few earthworms, sniggle through the topsoil that you pushed off to one side. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd take a quick glance around and see if there was any sort of objections or anything, and then if everybody looked comfortable, I'd drop the stone in there and bury it up.
All right. As you drop the stone, Lavin, and Patrick, since you're nearby as well, you hear almost the thump of the stone on the soil is organic, but it's much louder than it should be. It's almost like for a moment that thudding sound of that stone on earth has been heightened by a microphone. So you both hear it very, very clearly. As it sits there in the dark brown earth, do you bury it or anything else?
Well, after hearing the sound, I think Lavin would say, "Well, that's peculiar," and then just look at it for a minute.
You see Marlis making his way curiously over towards the digging hole as well. I'm sorry, did you say something was peculiar?
You didn't hear that? It
No.
went thump.
Oh. Maybe that's a good indicator, he says, non-committally.
Well, here, I'm just going to pick it up and drop it again so he hears it.
Oh, sure enough. And you do so, and once again, but Lavin, when you go to pick it up, the
You're
tips
cursed
of your
forever.
No, the tips of your fingers for a moment feel the smallest of vibrations, like the rock was humming for a moment when it was in the earth. And when you picked it up, as soon as you picked it up and it left the earth, it stopped humming. But for that briefest of second, you could feel that vibration through your gloves all the way just to your fingertips. And it's not an entirely unpleasant sensation.
Okay, so I'd drop it and make the sound, and then it'd be
It does make a sound again. Yeah.
I'd be like, "Hey, you got touch it. It feels weird. Feels a little funny."
And Marlis looks over towards Patrick and says, "Well, would you like to?"
Patrick, he's been in thought at the moment, and he nods and actually bends down and takes his pointer finger and pushes it against the rock.
Okay, and sure enough, you take as your pointing finger hits the rock, it's the same sensation, this little buzzy, vibrating sensation, which is astounding because you're right there looking at the rock, and the rock doesn't look like it's vibrating. Like the earth around it isn't shifting, but it's vibrating. Like it feels like it's vibrating, that hum on your fingertip.
Patrick then looks up and says, "Yeah, it seems to feel like it's vibrating. Not actually, though. It would be moving and trying to settle."
I see. And sure enough, Marlis goes in for his own inspection and confirms what both of you feel. He says, "Interesting." He takes a look around at the serene landscape. He looks down at the hill. He currently sees Ezex riding on Basilisk's shoulders as they're trying to run through the brook together while Ezex is trying to grab at the fish. It's ridiculous. And he says, "Well, other than our presence, I don't see anything else that's changed. So I can only assume this is all very nominal."
Well, a lot of the instructions were fairly vague, but from what little we have gotten, it seems to be in the non-cautionary state. I say that we continue.
Very well. He looks over towards Lavin, silver spade in hand.
Lavin shrugs. buries up the rock and
Sure.
takes a nap leaning up against the tree.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. At this time too, Blink has kind of sat closer towards Tom as he's playing music, and when he takes a break between songs or something, she says, "This is actually kind of really nice. Really nice. It almost reminds me of the area around L Zone Prime. Not the sensation that I'm feeling right now, but wild open nature without anything to interfere with it. It's what I always dreamed Earth would be, what it should be, what it was before, the Flash."
Yeah. It is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we deal with death and horrible things all the time, but it is really nice to be able to, come to a place like this every once in a while.
It's nice that there are places like this, she says.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So, with the rock buried, Criana,
Yay!
I would like you to roll me a d5, please. Roll 1d5.
That's not even a real die.
I know, but
Don't
too
tell me
bad.
what's real and not real. Oh, I have to. I can't push a button. I
have to
gotta
type
this
it.
in.
I know.
Roll
I know. I'm
1D.
an asshole.
Jeez.
I should have come up with one other thing, I guess. Ooh. So sure enough, in your wanderings around, I'll give you a choice. There's of major features, right? You can see there, kind of in the picture. There's some cliffs. There's a small forested area at the base of the cliffs. There's the brook, and there's kind of like the open meadow field, and some rolling hills. So, what would you like to explore?
Cliffs.
The cliffs. Okay, so you make your way into the cliffs, and as you do so, you start to hear this humming noise, this buzzing noise. And sure enough, you come across a large tree that is slightly hollowed around the center, and it is a swarm with a colony of giant red and black wasps that appear to have made its nest within this hollow tree.
All right.
Ooh.
Clarification. When you say giant, do you mean like Mars giant?
Sorry. Giant as in the size of your thumb.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a little less scary, but
Sorry, I
still.
forgot that we're in a fantasy world, and giant could literally mean as big as you.
We've seen bugs bigger.
You've seen
Yeah.
bugs much bigger.
They followed us from Mars. Oh, jeez.
Yep.
The swarm.
Oh no! Oh, yeah, no, but you come across that in your travels. Do you want to interrupt the hornets?
No. We'll avoid them.
That's an area of interest as you begin to wander amongst the base of the cliffs, and sure enough, you make your way up. Probably actually you make your way up to the tippy top if you want. And from that top, you can actually see on the other side, from a distance, about maybe a couple miles away, the cliffs roll off again into a smaller, rockier cliffs, another kind of small meadow, and then the coast of the lake. And you kind of see just bright blue and green all before you.
Ooh.
Now, my friends, if you'd like, we can switch to a more narrative frame of view as we pass by the next few days. Is that okay by all of you?
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I would
Yes,
say
I do have a couple of questions to ask.
Sure. People are pretty eager for stuff. No worries. What's up?
Well, the first one would be, because I've never really tried this before as a magic user. When close to a ley line, does that just increase the power of my spells, or does it allow me to cast more of them, or
Increases the power, as in
Okay.
the range and effect.
that's fine.
And
I would
duration.
like to, during the next 3 days, I'd like to experiment with my spells. There's a lot of things that I've asked you before, and it's been like one of those, well, you need to try it. I would like to try those things.
Perfect. I heard Piph and Criana Face also pipe up with some things before we get too far ahead in the timeline.
at some point,
Mhm.
Ellie would inform Patrick of the wasps.
Okay. All right. Great. And you, Mr. Patrick.
So I guess 3 things now.
Great.
And it might combine, unsure. Patrick would be very curious about a lot of things, but specifically during each day, he's going to try to exit this area and just take a few minutes outside this and then come back in.
Oh, okay. So you're going to try to find the, for lack of a better word, the threshold, the barrier, the territorial line between this, for lack of a better word, sacred space and the regular world.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. And what's the other things?
Seeing Al do his magic stuff, Patrick would probably go, that's a good idea, and do that, as well as Allie just informed him of a thing that she wanted him to see, which is of large insects. What do you describe them as?
What do I describe them as?
Yes.
Red, black, and wasp-like. There are a whole bunch of them inside a tree. I can show you. You can go take a look. I didn't get too close because I didn't want them to all sting me, but you can still take a little looky-loo.
Patrick nods. And during that time, I guess he would probably do one of two, a twofold thing.
Ooh, a twofer.
A twofold. Test out his magics and see what Criana's character's talking about.
Okay, that's great. Well, I'm going to hit to all these points, by the way. I just want to look at with broad strokes right now so I can, individualize to each of you.
Okay.
How about you, Burn Levin? Don't feel like you have to come up with something or something that your characters would do. You can always just react to things that happen. But anything in particular that you think your characters would do over the past few days, whether it's practicing a skill or exploring the area or something similar?
I think he's going to be spending a lot of time with Blink and also getting used to playing the guitar again.
Okay, great. How about you, Lavin? Anything special?
Relaxing at the tree, making sure nothing funny's going on with this rock.
Okay, all right. Okay, you're going to be the rock's protector. That's cool.
That's right.
That's cool. Awesome. I'll get to that too. So let's pass by the first day here pretty quickly. Let's do with the practicing of the magic first, real quick, with Al and Patrick during those few hours or so. Are there any particular any particular spells you want to kind of play around with, experiment with, test the limits of it?
Yeah, two.
Okay,
a quick one and one that I'd like to perform quite a few experiments on. But the quick one is heal wounds. I'd like to see if it works on plants. Just like cast a wound on like a broken branch or like an obvious wound to a tree or something, just to see. I doubt it, but I've never tried before.
Fair enough, and it never hurts to try. But this your experiments do confirm that. Unfortunately, no, you cannot mend vegetation with your cure wound spell. Perhaps, if you had much more intimate knowledge of magic, you might be able to tinker or morph or shape the mystic energy as exactly how you want, but you just don't have that resource right now.
Okay. And then
that's a fancy way of saying you don't know the spell yet, or you're not powerful enough to make the spell up on your own.
Got it. I kind of assumed that was the case.
Well, not to mention, I'd like to think that healing something with meat versus healing something with,
the cellular structure alone.
Exactly.
Exactly. Completely different. Anyways,
yeah. And this next one, so there's a couple of things I've always wanted to try out with Energy Field to really understand its limits, what it can and can't do.
Okay.
So with Energy Field, it says it can be like a bubble or a wall. So I assume that means that I have some at least limited control over its shape.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. I'll just say what I want to try. My experiments I'd like to try. I'd like to try see out what happens when I cast it like 10 or 20 feet just in the air, like hanging in the air. If it stays
Huh.
there, if it falls, what happens?
Okay.
I'd like to
Crushes you,
try.
you die.
I'd like to try doing the same thing. Like if that does stay in the air, I'd like to try casting it around myself while in the air to see if it supports my weight. I'd like to try casting it where there's like a log or something in the area where it is cast. So like, for example, part of it's in, part of it's out, and see what happens. Does it form at all? Does it break it off?
Great.
And basically, the last one would be if it can support its weight. Like if I could cast it and then step on top of it, would it hold me?
Okay. I can answer all those 4 questions. Well,
Perfect.
actually, the 4th question was very similar to the 2nd question. So first, can you cast it in the air? It takes quite a bit of concentration, but you can do it in a spherical shape. When you once again try to do it, and while you're in the air and you have it in a spherical shape around you, and then you turn off, I'm assuming you would get in your flying power armor or
the hover cycle or
the hover cycle, yeah. And you land on it first on your feet, and it supports your weight completely, and the hover cycle, and it supports your weight completely. Finally, when you try to cast around something where there is an object both inside and outside the sphere, right? The energy field, like for example, this log that you'd be trying. It shapes around the log perfectly, a perfect seal around it. It treats the log like it's any other piece of terrain. So any object that it is over it drapes over it and seals around it completely.
And then if I were to then drag the log into it so that it's no longer, would it form up around the hole or?
Yep. Instantaneously.
Interesting. Neat. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Perfect. No problem. Patrick, is this kind of general playing around with your spells, practicing thing, or is some experimentation that you want to do as well?
He's more curious throughout the area, and he doesn't really have a lot of spells that are too physical. So what he's going to most likely just do is do see aura and sense magic. See what he picks up.
Well, sense magic, you sense it everywhere. If you're nearby the ley line, you sense it everywhere. It kind of throws off your compass for that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Once you get within beyond 250 feet of the ley line, then it becomes a little bit more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what was the other spell?
See aura.
See aura. See aura, when you cast it on any sort of individual, any other person, it seems to be a little bit brighter, easier to read. And as an interesting effect, when you cast it and you're within a visual range of the ley line, normally it's a transparent blue, right? Very, very wispy, right? You see it as a dark, bright blue, very similar to what a ley line looks like at night. So it defines the ley line a lot darker as well. While we're getting on with you there, Patrick, I think I'll also during this day talk about you finding the boundary between this space and the rest of the world. Okay. And sure enough, do you go on vehicle or do you go on foot?
I'm guessing I'd probably go with vehicle.
Okay, all right. So probably maybe your ATV. You can get it from the Rhapsody easy enough.
Yes.
Okay. So you go out on your ATV, and if anyone else wants to accompany him, they can. We can say so narratively. It's no big deal because it's not much of a journey. It's not too long, especially in a vehicle. You get about a mile and a half away, and the ground itself is very similar, kind of very plains, meadowy type of terrain. When sure enough, the big indicator that you left, there's no physical boundary. The vegetation doesn't get more wilder or darker or anything like that. It's just that sensation in your chest, that lightness in your mind is just poof, gone, just for one moment. And sure enough, when you experiment, go back and forth, you find the exact literal boundary. It's completely invisible, but it's more of an emotional feeling than a physical boundary, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then you're attacked by zombies.
No. Lightning bolt.
So serene.
So serene, so undead. No,
And then death.
and then death. We'll get to you and Patrick and Nora with the hornet's nest in a moment. I'm gonna go over to Lavin. Lavin, with the sound of music and the cool breeze, and you leaning against this tree and everything like that. Do you would it be fair to say you might doze off or let your mind wander a little bit?
Yep.
Or are you okay? All right. So
Yeah. No, I would think Lavin would just check on it maybe twice a day and make sure that see if the ground's like bulging or strange
the
creatures are coming out of the hole or.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, a few glances by it, and it looks completely undisturbed from when you buried it. And when your mind wanders, you may begin to doze off, maybe a little micro sleep or something like that. And at this point, Tom has stopped playing the guitar, but you could swear you could hear some sort of melody, but not by strings, almost like a flute or a wind instrument, a very light flautist sensation. And the weird thing is that you don't hear it through your ears. You hear it as if you're remembering music. You're remembering the sound, but you've never heard this sound before. So how can you still be remembering it? But when you kind of arise from your dozing, when you snap to, when you're really aware of the sound, you just get the faintest impression. It's not words, but an emotion. An emotion of gratitude washes over you momentarily, and of thanks.
It's peculiar.
Sure,
Is anybody around me? Like, I would ask them.
Sure, of course, we can have anyone. In
Do
fact,
you hear that?
Marlis. I will say it because it's always fun to have Marlis involved. And you know what? I'm going to say for NPCs, we'll say Marlis. And at this time, I think Ezex and Basilisk are now just like sprout out on the grass, like recovering from their hours of roughhousing. So they'll be around. Any other PCs want to be around? You can I mean, this is throughout the entire day, so you can definitely say you're around. Well, when Levin has this thing.
Sure, like Al's 20 feet away pushing on a blue bubble.
Okay. Mila, Patrick, you want to be around? Well, Lavin's
sure.
getting peculiar.
Ellie will be kind of floating by and kind of like poking her head over, like, what?
Okay.
Okay, well, since there's like 10 people around, I'd be like, shh, shh. Does anybody hear that?
Ellie will
And
listen.
There's a listen for a moment, and then you see Ezex lift a leg, flick his tail, and fart. He says, "That."
No. A
And,
different pushing of air.
oh, that's all the air I can push, he says. And Basilisk.
We're pushing
Snacks.
air?
No, it's like some kind of instrument.
Oh, hang
Maybe I'm
on.
just going crazy.
Ellie has good hearing. Does she hear it?
No.
Oh.
All you can hear is the sound of water on rock with that brook that's off in the distance.
Ellie crosses her arms. Yeah, you might be going crazy. I don't hear anything.
Lavin would take his helmet off and look inside and see if there's any like bug or something.
No, your helmet is clear.
Bug?
Yes,
a very
you
soothing
found
bug.
the flute bug. You figured it out.
You found me.
I was just buzzing in your ear.
Let me play you the sound of my people. Anyway,
Okay.
no, your helmet's clear. There's nothing in it.
And then I'd put my ear on the ground where I buried the rock.
By the rock?
Where I buried it, I'd put my ear on the
Yeah,
ground,
yeah,
like right
yeah.
over it on the hole.
You hear the slightest humming sound. Like that.
Basilisk, did you bring any of that liquor? Because I think this rock is singing to me. I need a drink.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, hell yes. And he tosses you over an ale in a bottle.
Lavin parks himself up against the tree again, muttering to himself.
Crazy.
Excellent. Good. Plan 1 is complete. Okay. Let's move forward towards the hornet's nest. Ellie, very energetically, is probably leading Patrick on to where she found this hornet nest.
So she like climbed things, right?
You can the hornet's nest is in the hollow of a tree. Pardon, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, don't worry if that's a yes. I have ways to get up there.
No, that's fine. No, like she probably did some climbing or whatnot, but she didn't climb in order to get to this hornet's nest. The hornet's nest is in the trunk of the tree, of the hollowed out tree, so it's only about 4 feet above the ground, and navigating the base of the cliff is easy. There's quite a few trees in the way, but you can walk around them no problem.
Okay.
Anyway, so sure enough, Wait a second. Roll me land navigation. Make sure you get back to the point that you wanted to, Ellie.
All right. Bring it. Clicking the button.
That's probably a success.
Yeah, I'll double check, but I think that is. Scroll up, you stupid son of. Okay, here we go. Yeah. I got an 86% normally,
good.
So we're good.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
Ellie is able to retrace her steps perfectly, and sure enough, you see black and yellow wasps about the size of your thumb buzzing around in the hollow of a tree. And Patrick, you know enough about wasps and hornets and whatnot, and so does Ellie. Not to get too close, but we'll say you guys are about what, like about 50 feet away. Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair for Patrick.
Okay, so you get 50 feet away, and both of you are like, we both know that hornets are pretty territorial. They're not really reacting to you guys right now, but they seem to be just doing as hornets do. A few of them buzzing out, patrolling, heading out into the woods, while others return to the woods with, going back to their tree and doing what hornets do.
Pretty big. Wonder how I got
Right?
Oh, let's see. Do you think you have any? Isn't there identify plants and animals skill?
I have that.
Ooh, roll that, Kurt.
Wait, actually, no. I have identify plants, not animals.
Oh, yeah.
I got wilderness survival.
Yeah, wilderness survival. You know what? Let's just make this a base D100 check for both of you. Roll me a D100, please. Oh, okay.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Yeah, Ellie, you know that these are probably from your earlier life before the implants. But you know that these are Africanized hornets, or in other words, big ass, aggressive, really mean hornets. The very fact you've gotten this close and not being stung or swarmed by them is extremely surprising.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Ellie will repeat in character.
Sure.
Patrick nods a bit. He then's gonna say to Ellie, all right, I want to check something out. I'll be right back. As he then steps towards the hornet's nest.
Wait. Patrick, where are you going?
How close to the nest do you want to be in a matter of feet?
He's going to be stepping slowly, cautiously, carefully, but without like trying to be like sneaky or anything, just trying to approach it with as much calm as possible.
Okay. You do so, you get within 40 feet, 30 feet. And you can still hear the buzzing of the hornets, but they don't seem to have been changing their behavior at all. 25 feet? 20 feet? Is that fair to say you're still going?
Let's see, 20 feet. I think he's going to try to do 10.
Okay. 25 feet, 20 feet, 15, 14, 10 feet away. You can see now the details of this large colony of hornets. And you can estimate there's probably at least 200 of the insects around inside that tree. It's not just a small hollow. It's a significant amount that is these hornets have called their home. And you might not know the exact genus like Ellie does right now, but you know right now that this is extremely, any breed of hornet, you should not get this close without at least some of the scouts or whatnot trying to sting you or scare you away. Not a single thing. They continue on, unabashed, unintimidated by your presence.
Patrick will then turn and walk back to Ellie.
How did it go? Ellie looks confused.
I have some theories, but it looks like as long as you don't bother them, they will not bother you. There's a lot of them, though.
Right?
Excellent.
But you want to go climbing?
Yeah.
I want to go climbing.
Let's go.
So you guys spend a good afternoon climbing.
I want to do like super steep steep walls.
Yes.
Well, there's some sides of the cliffs that are pretty steep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any equipment that you're going to be using with that?
Yes. It's called Climb the Spell.
Oh. You spoiled my D100 rolls with your
I think there is still a roll to it. I think it's just super high.
Yeah, it's just super, super good. Okay. Well, we'll say since you're taking your time or whatnot, Patrick, thanks to your magical assistance, you climb just as good as Ellie, and both of you can climb some pretty steep cliffs and get some really unique vantage points of the valley below. In addition, come across a few nests of cliff birds, small, white, cute little black-billed birds with these little tiny kind of red and yellow eyes. Sorry, yellow and black eyes. Who also seem to be, unless you decide to disturb their nest for whatever reason, also let you climb on by without a second glance.
All right. I am curious about that particular animal.
Oh, sure.
I want to know what their general diet may be.
Sure. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
They're cliff swallows. They're adorable.
Aww.
And their diet is...
And they're dying.
I don't care about its life history. I want to know what it fucking eats.
Birds.
Oh,
Other birds.
They eat flying insects all year round, and they forage during the day in groups of 2 to more than 1,000 birdies. They feed on the wing above grassy pastures and open areas. But yeah, they eat bugs. So bees, flies, wasps, ants, beetles, mayflies, butterflies, etc.
Patrick will take note of this. But still, he's at this point, like, he's been generally like thoughtful. It hasn't really been like smiling or taking in the scenery in most cases along most of these particular days. But alongside Ellie climbing this cliff, he's having a blast.
Yay!
Hooray! So with ends the first day, if that's okay by you guys. So my only question is this. Oh, actually, it's not gonna. Well, no. We'll end up the first day. But my question is on where you guys sleep. Do you want to camp out and sleep in the open air? Do you want to sleep in the Behemoth or sleep in the Rhapsody?
Camp out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under the tree.
That's a camp out.
So I would say if we're gonna camp out, we should take watch. We don't want another horse stealing people again.
Yeah, that's true.
Shifty eyes.
As like the wasps just lift somebody away.
No! You're one of us now.
I never wanted this. I trust too easily.
You didn't get Grunt's loyalty.
Sure.
Damn it.
Sure, we won't nitpick the watch or anything like that. As long as you guys make it clear that one person keeps a watch for a couple hours where everyone else rests, that's more than fine. So, is everyone good with the camping outdoors idea?
Sounds good to me.
Patrick is mainly because he does want to keep a closer eye on the rock.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as the sun begins to set and hide behind the cliffs themselves, a wonderful bloom of orange and pink and red light begins to hit the sky. As more and more as the light day turns into night and it turns into twilight, sure enough, that transparent light blue ley line begins to deepen, become this rich, deep, vibrant navy blue that itself becomes an illuminating pattern, is the one area of light that courses along the valley. In fact, much of the babbling brook and the meadows around you are awash in this blue light. And as each of you rest that night, you sleep soundly. For those, I won't say specifically, but for those of you who might have anxieties or busy minds or whatever, you manage to sleep completely, fully, without any interruptions. If you are prone to dreaming, you have no nightmares. And when you wake up in the morning, in the soft glow of the morning light, you are refreshed, revitalized, at calm. In fact, as the second day begins to turn on, the folks in the Rhapsody have decided that this is an ample opportunity for Alicia to teach Morgan McLaughlin a little bit more, have him practice the landing up and down, if that's okay by you guys.
Sounds like
Yeah,
a
I
good
mean, we
idea.
haven't come across anyone the whole time we've been here, right?
No, you have not come across a single other human being or sentient life form.
Then
Just
sure.
animals and not even a single predator.
I mean, honestly,
I'm all for it.
he's gonna need to get taking off and landing down pretty soon. I think.
I'm all for it. I might suggest we get everyone else off the ship, though. To enjoy
Sure,
the
just in
beautiful
case.
day.
Well, see, and that's the thing too. Now, because Marlis has been talking to Zoe Wedgwood, and Bear's been talking to August, and Al might have even broached this up with Jalea and Yasmin, but all of them are fine getting off the ship and are also kind of enjoying the serene. Even Yasmin, who likes to keep a more neutral expression, we'll just say a resting expression, actually has a few smiles and it seems to be in pretty good spirits. Even Jalea has kind of put aside her angst and her tears for a moment, and is enjoying the nature and spending a lot of time with her friends, and kind of engaging each of you in some pleasant small talk. Is there anything else you guys would like? Because I have just a couple little events. Just want to touch by on this second day, but very much like the first day. Is there anything you guys, in particular, really want to do or explore or practice or anything like that, or shall I just move us forward?
Does anyone have a fishing rod?
Oh, I do. I have a really good kit.
Lavin wants to go fishing.
All right.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Now, does Lavin have the fishing skill?
Yeah. Yes.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh my god.
Well,
His
this
whole
is
life.
very cool. Okay, great. So, so Lavin's gonna go fishing. Does anyone else want to join him? Do you have more than one fishing pool? Or I guess you could take turns with it.
Patrick would like to keep. Would like to watch fishing. Let's just say.
I'm
Okay.
Always an exciting activity watching fishing.
I think I only have one pole, but I wouldn't mind if he were to fish, if Lavin were to fish, and Tom would just spend most of the time playing with Hannibal
Okay. Great.
out in the sun.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that does sound good. Okie dokie. Oh, let's do Lavin's fishing right now then. So you're able to find because in the earth there's quite a bit of crawlers and earthworms and whatnot. You can definitely catch a few flies if necessary if you want to use that as bait. So let's have you roll your fishing skill. And actually, because this place is just teeming with fish, I like you to make it easier by 20%. So you succeed by 41. So you catch quite a bounty and we'll say, how long do you think you'll fish for? 2-3 hours? Like the morning or the afternoon?
Well, I mean, I guess if I caught a whole bunch of fish,
You would stop earlier.
yeah, I mean, because I'm thinking like, in Pink Floyd when he's gone fishing,
Yeah.
right? So,
Sure.
but I mean, once he's got like 10 fish or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I guess I better stop.
Okay. So you catch 2 brook trout. They are a medium-sized fish with black and white edges on their fins and with kind of this light green coloring on their back. You also catch 1 brown trout and a Chinook king salmon. Now, if you keep on fishing, you're quite confident that you could catch even more. But for a good-sized fish, I mean, for your group, we'll make a decent meal.
Yeah, like I basically would only fish enough that we could eat.
Sure, eat. Or you could also do some catch and release as well if you just enjoy the sensation of fishing.
Nah, that's just, I don't like that.
Okay. No problem. Sure, but yeah, no, so you catch 2 brook trout, a brown trout, and a Chinook king salmon. Will you be preparing this food as well for the meal?
Well, does anybody else cook? Is there a cooking skill? Is this a thing?
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's
I
a
have
cooking
a cooking
skill. In
skill.
fact, if you have hunting and cooking, it makes you're really good at cooking what you catch.
Hmm.
Okay.
But who has the cooking skill? Sorry.
I do.
I also have cook.
Okay. Well, who would like to cook the fish that Lavin caught?
I wouldn't mind cooking the trout if you cook the salmon.
Can do.
Oh, there you. Okay, perfect. You both. You know what? Let's just see
Is this
how
a
well you guys
competition
do.
now? We have to-
Maybe we'll see who
judges?
fishes better. Go ahead and roll cook, and I would like you both of you to make it easier by 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got a 12 out of 95.
Oh wait, a 12 out of 95.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a 12 out
Oh.
of 95.
And okay, so Patrick's fish is extremely good, but the one that Tom cooks is just savory, melt in your mouth perfectness. He adds in this wonderful, just a little bit. There's just like a little bit of garlic butter that was left over on the behemoth that he's utilized, and he's managed to season it really, really well. And it's crispy, it's flaky, it's real, real nice. Not to say anything is disgusting or wrong with Patrick's fish at all, but Tom went the extra mile, and it tastes that way.
Just before like Lava hands the fish over to these
Sure,
guys,
yeah.
he would look at least one of them in the eye and see if it's singing to him.
No, the fish do not sing. They don't also say, "Free me, and I'll grant you 3 wishes." They do not talk. These are mundane fish.
Hmm.
Don't eat us, Lavin.
Ellie, I can
Too
see you behind
late.
that rock.
God.
Okay. So, okay, we got some fishing down. Anything else anyone would like to do for the second day? There is one thing. Probably first of all, you can kind of see from time to time, every hour or so, the Rhapsody rising and falling, and later on in the future, Alicia does notice that she said that the area was really conducive to Morgan McLaughlin learning how to land the ship, because he himself commented, and she did too, that he was less anxious, a little bit more calm, confident as he was heading towards the Earth in the Rhapsody. Around, we'll say early afternoon or so, Ezex and Basilisk get the idea that, since Lavin did so well with the sport fishing, they wouldn't mind hunting. There's a lot of deer and rabbit in the area, and they wouldn't mind going for a simple game hunt to just grab something for them to eat for the evening. Would anyone like to accompany them? Bear's up for it, so he'll be joining them.
I would.
Okay.
I'm not leaving the rock.
Okay.
I'll hang out with Lavin.
All right.
Al's not much of a hunter.
Sure, no problem. You can decline. It's no big deal.
Patrick would like to watch hunting.
Now this is going to be interesting. Okay, so Tom, Bear, Ezex, Basilisk, and actually Yasmin's going to come too, and Patrick are all going to go hunting. Now, the experienced hunters in the group suggest that they don't all go together in a clump, because that will be noisy and obvious. So they suggest that people at the very least pair off. That way it'll lower their footprint and the noise and everything like that. Basilisk and Ezex would like to go together. That leaves Bear, Yasmin, Tom, and Patrick. How do you guys want to pair up?
I'll leave it up to you.
Is there any other just viewers, or am I the only?
You're the only one who just wants to be a watcher.
Okay. So Patrick will note this and see if anyone outright just does not want a lead foot with him.
Bear says in his not somber tone, sounds like he's sad, in his low tone, "It is always good when those are interested in learning the ways of the wild and experiencing it. You may come with me. I do not mind an inexperienced protege."
Patrick, go with Bear.
Okay. That leaves Yasmin and Tom. So this is not overlong or anything like that, because this is just a small little footnote aside. I'd like each of the active players to roll me a D100, please, while I roll for NPCs. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Piph?
And Patrick, you do have to roll D100, only because you're accompanying Bear, and if you roll very poorly, he'll have to compensate for you.
Okay. I
Okay.
rolled very poorly.
Okay. All right.
Bear will have to compensate for you.
So, we'll go with kind of each group. We'll do Bear and Patrick first. Patrick, you're being as careful as you can, right? And Bear is being as observant as he can, and you follow his lead as best you can. Unfortunately, the closest thing you get to is a buck with a full stag head of horns. He's probably about 3 or 4 years old. But unfortunately, he manages to get out of sight before Bear can bring up his hunting rifle to shoot it. And unfortunately, with the exception of a few small rabbits who quickly skirt out of the way, you return back to the campsite empty-handed. But Bear gives you some encouraging words, and as you are out hunting, he he gives you some very constructive criticisms on how you can improve, and he adds in some things that you did do very well, as a form of feedback.
Patrick is very
yes,
happy about this.
yeah, good. Yasmin and Tom, okay. So you go out into the wooded area as well, Tom, and Yasmin follows suit. And she brokers a few questions as you are kind of coursing through the woods. She says this in a very low, soft voice, but she says, "Well, we haven't had a lot of time to get to know each other, especially after everything that happened in New Laszlo. How long have you been with, well, this group?"
He's going to stop and kind of look up, recalling. I want to say 2.5 years, nearly 3.
I see, she says. And she says, "I know this is going to be a really dumb question, but you actually were up in space?"
Yeah, that's how we got the ship.
"I see," she says, kind of looking around with her own hunting rifle in hand. "It doesn't bother you?"
How? About what?
"Well, being somewhere so different. I mean, space. There's no Earth. There's no air. There's nothing. Right?"
Yeah, it was. There were a lot of difficulties up there, but I mean, there was no prejudice against, different people. Like, for instance, there was no prejudice against DBs. Like Blink, she's my girlfriend. She's from space. She's a cat mutant. She's not a DB. And there was no, hatred for her.
"I see," she says, nodding thoughtfully. "I
So
can definitely see that appeal.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't bother you?"
No, not really.
Huh. And she goes to ask another follow-up question.
Mhm.
Before, Tom, you notice a really fat, juicy rabbit kind of course across your view, running it through the woods. And if you want to take the shot, you do so. And let me ask you first: do you want to take the shot at the rabbit?
Absolutely.
Okay. You take the shot and you nail it perfectly, right in its neck. It doesn't suffer; it dies instantaneously.
Sweet.
And it is a huge jackrabbit. It's like a 10-pounder. It is a big old jackrabbit that you managed to snag. Yasmin kind of scratches her rose tattoo for a moment. She says, "Good shot." And here I was all distracted with the getting to know you questions.
Yeah, it's fine. We can still talk on the way back.
"Okay, yeah, sure," she says. "It's just, well, you understand this whole situation is really just, for lack of a better word, insane. So if I'm ever super quiet about something, it's me just trying to get used to everything.
Hey.
We've been traveling so long with Jalea and the rest of the group that it's kind of weird that we're in this situation right now. And there's still a lot of, I don't know, there's still a lot of trust that needs to be built up. But I guess this is how it starts. All right,
Yeah.
Small talk."
Don't worry about it. There's going to be growing pains.
"Don't tell me not to worry," she says. "Worrying's my job.
No,
Worrying keeps me alive."
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean,
Yeah.
she says.
And I know I've apologized several times already to Basilisk, but I am sorry that you guys had to, or that he had to go through that because of me.
Go through what?
Those people that kidnapped him were trying to get at me.
Oh, yeah, she says. That was a messy situation.
Yeah.
But she says, and she stops for a moment. She leans against her rifle on the earth. She says, "Don't bother apologizing for shit that you can't control. Unless you hired those guys to hurt him, then why the hell are you apologizing for? You can't control the world. All you can do is control yourself, right?"
That's a good point.
There's a lot of things I wish I could control. And she kind of stares off a little bit for a moment, a whole lot of things, before she snaps back towards you. But all I can do is control myself and my own actions. So, besides, I don't know, it's in the past. He's alive. I'm alive. Everyone else is alive, and those bastards are dead. So, in the end, it all worked out anyway.
Indeed.
Okay, so with that, we'll wrap it up. And to the campsite, you see Basilisk and Ezex bringing over. Ezex has the head of the deer. He's like carrying it, like both front legs are over his shoulders, and the head is like resting on top of his head. As Basilisk is bringing up the rear, as they tow in the same buck that Bear and Patrick had a close encounter with. They bring over the campsite, and after a few rude jokes about fine eating tonight, they begin to skin and prepare the animal. There are some comments that they haven't eaten a game this nice for at least the past 8 months. So Basilisk in particular is very happy about that. But what's interesting is that Basilisk prepares the deer, and he does so like very respectfully. There can be a lot of amateur or callous hunters that just kind of hack away at the beast. But Basilisk kind of treats the carcass with respect, for lack of a better word. And he makes you sure to like use every single part of it. Regardless, shall I move on to the evening on the second night?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second night, the sun once again sets. Another beautiful pink-red colors flit across the sky. And moments after the sun completely sets, before the moon itself begins to rise in the sky, there's a sudden crackling of energy. Just before this, the hair on the back of your necks begins to rise, and you feel this tinny, brassy copper feeling in your mouths as the ley line begins to crackle with energy. And at the nexus point, it begins to vibrate and ripple out. In a few mere moments, from the base of the tree of your campsite, you are approximately 300 feet away from the nexus point. As all of a sudden, from the center of the nexus, there begins to become a tear in reality. A ripple, a window opens 20 feet high into the sky as reality itself begins to be pushed aside. And you can see the single circular window. And first, as it begins to open, you start to hear laughter. Laughter of a single masculine voice. But it's not happy laughter, a simple chuckle at the end of a joke, or an exuberant, belly laugh. This has something harsher, perhaps even madder, like as in more insane at the end of it. A cackling. And as the rift itself begins to open, you see, those of you who have any sort of telescopic sight, either at the edge of a weapon or you have very keen ear sight, ear sight? No more beer. Eyesight, like Mila, or a cybernetic eye like Lavin, those of you who have enhanced vision can see very clearly in this other side of this window of reality an individual on the top of what appears to be this dark brown mountain cliff. He's small, just a tiny, tiny person in the large view, but you can see his hands are raised up high facing the sun. In this other reality that this rift has torn open, it is pure daylight as compared to your own night. And you can hear the laughter from this man on the top of this cliff. And beyond the cliff, below him, across this large, wide plateau, you see millions and millions of teeming beings. But they're not human. They look like, well, they have like red gums and white teeth and little yellow mechanical feet on the bottom of them. And they're all clacking and chattering. And the sound begins to reverberate, spill into this reality where all you can do is hear this maniacal laughing and the chattering and chittering of millions of these bizarre teeth. A few of them, these chattering teeth, spill out through this rift window and plop into the water below of the babbling brook before, just as soon as this rift opens, in a matter of 15, maybe 20 seconds, it closes again. And this bizarre world where there is just a single manic laughing man and millions, perhaps billions, of these strange teeth-like objects begins to close. The ripple fades, and you can still hear the splashing of these foreign bodies in the river. And in the blue light of the ley line, you can see some movement, about 3 or 4 of these objects.
Lavin says, no, 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 no.
What was that all about? Sounds like they're having a really good time over there. Should we do something? Ellie like looks around at the group.
Make sure
Well-
you're fully prepared, armed, just in case everybody who is not suited for combat get inside of the behemoth or the Rhapsody now.
You see Ellie booking it to the behemoth.
Lavin, sorry, not Lavin. Basilisk looks over to Lavin and he says, I'm 98% sure that wasn't the booze. But I've been drinking pretty hard today. I drink pretty hard pretty much every day.
Well, at least I wasn't the only one who saw it.
And how much have you been drinking?
Not that much.
Okay. I'm going to get my weapon. Basilisk says, as he moves over to the campsite and gets geared up as well, as does Ezex. And Marlis also puts on his protective equipment. Marlis is speechless at this, as are pretty much all the NPCs. It was a very bizarre sight, and they're having a hard time forming words on how to articulate what just happened. Almost like God drank too much.
Al would comment to the NPCs in general, but he would definitely make sure that Jalea hears it. He would say, in times like this, it's a 50-50 shot if this is dangerous or not. I agree. Anyone who wants should probably take shelter in the behemoth.
Okay. Jalea says, I'm not afraid. I can handle myself. This is echoed by Yasmin as well.
Al closes his mouth firmly, not wanting to say what he's thinking.
So, Inferno.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I usually do in the situation and try to figure out either the laughing man or the things that have fallen out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Let's first do. give me lore magic and then lore monsters and I guess demons and monsters. Lore magic is for the event that just occurred, and demons and monsters are for the things that fell onto the earth. I would like you to make both harder by 15%.
15.
Lavin's actually got
5.
lore demon too.
Oh yeah, you go ahead too and make yours harder by 15%.
So this is magic.
Okay.
Fail.
Okay. All right, failed by Lavin.
If I have it at
Succeed
10%, but it's 15% harder, does that mean I can't make the check?
It means if you try, you'll get dumber.
No, that's not how that works. But yeah, go ahead. Roll me that other skill check, Patrick, for demons and monsters.
And demons and monsters.
Wow. Oh, Patrick, you're so good at what you do.
Mhm.
You at first it takes a while for your mind to kind of parse together everything that you saw, but finally, the threads are starting to get connected, and they start at that strange spell that you learned, which makes your nose incredibly large in order to sense magic. You've heard this in Tolkien and New Laszlo, and through your own studies at the New Laszlo Library, that there are different flavors of magic. And one of the more peculiar, unorthodox flavors of magic is jester magic, or what some people like to call ludicrous magic, because the end results are, frankly, ludicrous. You're not completely, absolutely certain, but you have a firm belief that the strange creatures that spilled out of that dimension into this one are the result of a magical spell called, well, something involving teeth, obviously, clattering or chattering. They do both. And apparently they are magical constructs that are permanently bound and created by this very bizarre magic. They're also extremely aggressive from what you've heard of them. And they're not known to be sentient or any real way to communicate with them that you know of. As far as the man himself, you can only assume that this is either a very powerful ludicrous mage or an individual who was trapped on the earth in which these chattering teeth had made and was quite insane. Either way, it's very certain that the root of all of this is this very bizarre magic, which is not necessarily evil, but not necessarily good either.
Mm-hmm.
It's trickster magic, for lack of a better word. That's the best way of thinking of it, that you can think of and put words to.
Right. Patrick would definitely note their magical constructs of these particular things, and they can be pretty aggressive. Other things like knowing of the particular man, or the area that he was in, or any of these particular behaviors, he can only really guess about the rest.
Yeah. I mean, it's an educated guess, but still in the end, just a guess.
Mhm.
I hope that doesn't disappoint you too much.
No.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okie dokie. So do you guys want to? You do hear still some of the kind of splashing in the pond. You don't see any of these teeth moving up on the ground or anything like that. But it sounds like a lot of people are gearing up to investigate to go down by the brook itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who's all going? So Al, Tom, Basilisk, Ezex, Jalea, Rose, Bear. Is Lavin going? Is Al going? I know Mila's already in.
I was
sorry,
gonna
Ellie's already
say,
in the
well,
Rhapsody.
I'm not the brave one here.
How far away is this pond?
That's about 300 feet away.
I'm certainly going.
I'd follow at a distance.
Okay, all right, okay. So as the group heads down towards the babbling brook, You take a look around, and thankfully the ley line is still at its bright blue, so you don't even need any sort of light for this. You see far in the distance a pair of these yellow little feet bobbing up on the ground as it appears to be being whisked away by the water. There is one set of teeth that is looking like it's trying to swim or something, and it's chomping at the water. Its little tiny yellow feet kicking quite comically, staying in place. One appears to be on it's upside down, much like a turtle on the top of its shell, on the opposite side of you, on the other side of the shore of the brook. And on your side, there is another chattering piece of these clicking, chattering teeth, and it appears to have a fish in its mouth, and it is chewing through it like mad. And by the time you get within 40 feet of it, Lavin, since you're hanging back, it's closer to about 60 feet. It's chomped right through this entire thing, and now it's working on the tail. It's just turning this fish into mush, into pulp in its mouth. So yeah, we got one brushed off downstream, one still kind of swimming, one upside down on the other side of the shore, and another one nom-nomming a fish.
One of them looks in distress. Patrick is probably going to try to find a branch to maybe try to help it get back on shore.
Okie dokie. You find a branch, and navigating the brook is pretty easy for you because you're in your body armor, right?
I'm in my gold suit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's relatively easy. The brook is about waist high to you. So as you wade across it and you move over and sure enough, you go to the one that's upside down and you try and knock it over with your stick, and it takes a couple swings, but you manage to do it. And as soon as it gets on its feet, it takes a chomp at that stick and just bites half of it off. And it starts thrashing and buzzing and turning that end of that stick into sawdust.
That's not good. It's more talking about the one in the water, but yes, that one also looked like it was in distress.
Okay, sorry. The one in the water then, it grabs the branch by its teeth, and you manage to bring it on shore. However, when once it has its feet on the ground, it just keeps chomping that branch, chomping it in half, and then turning its half into sawdust. So same effect.
Same effect.
Yeah.
I think that's not particularly too good. He knows that from bears that putting down small articles and things like that will maybe distract it a bit so he can move away from it so it doesn't bite the shit out of him.
Okay. What are you going to put down in its way?
This is a good question.
Well, as you think on that, you know what? I'm getting myself another beer. I don't care what other Inferno says.
I need to use the washroom. I'll be back too.
Okay, bathroom break.
Other Inferno's judging me, but I don't care.
Sober Inferno's gonna listen to this and be like, oh, son of a... Oh, God.
What did I do?
How did I pronounce that word? God.
So, did we just, glimpse Lucas 20 years in the future or something?
Probably, actually.
Controlling an army of billions of clacking teeth.
I think I have a good idea what that was. Probably some. Yeah.
What?
No, I thought so too.
Don't wait. Don't give any spoilers.
Okay.
Because I don't know this stupid lore.
You know, you're saying that as an adjective, but it's actually probably correct. It is probably stupid.
No, I legitly meant it.
Yeah.
What's this?
Stupid lore.
Oh, stupid lore.
No. We were reminiscing about what we may have just seen.
Oh, I don't blame you. That brings up more questions than answers.
Patrick is going to be laying out some blank discs, as
Like,
well as
data discs.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as he's probably going to put down. I had it and I lost it. Just okay. We're just gonna go with blank discs for now.
Okay. All right. Spiral, are you back? He's not
Yes,
back.
it's me, your friend Spiral.
Lies. That's okay. I'll still describe this as it goes. So you lay down the discs and everything like that, like in front of you, and take a step back. And the one that you rescued from the water begins to kind of circle around in small concentric circles. It finds a strong pebble that it gnaws upon. And then, sure enough, it turns its way towards this nice shiny disc in the blue light of the ley line night. And sure enough, it moves up to it and kind of nudges it a little bit with its foot. And it bops its like toothy mouth against it. And it picks it up. And he starts chewing through it. It like shatters and fragments a million ways. And it is kind of wandering aimlessly. But every time it comes across another one of these discs, it happily destroys it.
I'll say that I've probably done that 5 times to give a good distance.
Sure. And you do get a good distance. This thing is in absolute no hurry. So you can clear the distance, and it's not actively pursuing you. Welcome back, Lavin. All that you missed is Patrick putting down a few empty data discs on the ground to kind of distract this chewy, chattering teeth thing, so he could kind of clear away without getting eaten. What would the rest of you like to do? You see Patrick rescue the one little chattering teeth. The one that was kind of being washed down the brook is now completely out of sight. It's gone. Its little yellow feet have now gone somewhere else.
So the one that was eating fish is gone, I guess.
The one, no, the one that's eating fish is still there. Okay. In fact, it's starting to wander towards the group right now. The one on the other side of the shore, where it's upside down, is still kicking its feet very violently.
Okay. So there's 2 in the river?
No, there's none. Well, there's none in the river now. There were 2 in the river. Okay. One you rescued with your stick, and it's back on shore eating your discs. And the other one was being swept downstream, and now that time has passed, it is completely out of sight. So really, you only have 3 teeth to worry about. You got one on the other side that's upside down, that's incapacitated, for lack of a better word, because it can't flip itself over. And then there's 2 on your shore side. One that is eating discs and happily destroying them, and another one that's kind of waddling its way towards the bulk of the group. It's right now about 30 feet away. Of course, this is about 50 feet away from Lavin. It's just, you can see its little shoe prints in the dark, and it is just chattering and chomping away. This weird kind of geary sound to it.
I'd be just training my rifle on them. Waiting to see for.
It doesn't seem to react to the rifle, nor does it stop its movement towards you. It's not moving very fast, like maybe like a foot every 5 seconds.
They're horrifying teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Ezek says. I say we blow them to hell.
Well, we don't know that they're dangerous, and we're not sure if they're.
Yasmin sarcastically points towards the one that's destroying Patrick's discs right now. I don't want that thing close to my hand, do you?
Yeah, Patrick's like with the group right now. No, they're pretty dangerous. As far as I can tell, they will just gnaw on whatever they pass.
That's what I was wanted to confirm. Are they intelligent or are they mindless?
They seem to be mindless. How their walking patterns and their particular actions don't seem to be of curiosity or direction.
Jalea points up, maybe they were under control by that laughing maniac, and now that he's gone, she says as she shakes her head, clearing of the memory, maybe they don't have any direction, like a robot.
Like a hive mind too far from control.
Yeah, or that.
Do you think I should go after the one that went down the river? Could be dangerous if someone came across it.
That is true.
All right. Destroy it or bring it back, Patrick.
Patrick considers. Well, captured, we could probably travel back to Tolkien and verify if it even lasts that long, I suppose.
Do we have a long-term method of containing it? I have short-term methods, but
we have some of the crates that carried the insects, I think.
You also have Mrs. Mams's cage still.
Yeah.
Oh.
Al nods. He says, "All right, I'll see what I can do," and then he'll hop on the hover cycle and take off after the one that went down the river.
Okie dokie. So Al's doing that. What are you guys? What's the rest of the group going to do with the Kurt teeth?
The one that's coming towards the group.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shoot
Oh,
a
yeah,
magic
it's like
net
it's
at
like
it.
20 feet now. Oh, oh. Roll to hit, please.
Actually, I think it's a dodge one.
Yeah, it's a 16 plus dodge, I believe.
Unfortunately, though, in order for the bolt to take effect, it has to hit its target, right?
No. I'm in the Mystic Power Armor.
Oh, you're in the Mystic Power Armor? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought you were using a magic bullet.
No.
All right, 1d20. Well, let me just click. I wrote down its stats. Where are you to dodge, you little chunkin' bastard?
Although there is no save versus magic,
+4.
intended victims may try to save to dodge 16 or higher. No, okay.
If you add 10, then no.
No, Ty would go to defender.
Well, either way. A magic net surrounds it. It tries to chomp at the net, but it doesn't get through it. At least not yet. But it's trying like hell.
Yeah. You might want to.
You gotta give it a knee for effort, man.
Yeah.
All right. So that one's. We'll quickly whisk over to Al. Al, on your high speed, awesome Cobra Turbo. It doesn't take you very long to get to, and thankfully, because the illumination of the ley line, you're able to see. I mean, it's a floating pair of fucking like novelty teeth. Right? It's pretty easy to spot amongst in the river, and sure enough, you see it. It's been caught up against a rock.
So Al's going to. He's going to, if I remember correctly, adhesive carpet has a faint yellow glow to it, correct?
Sure does. Yep.
He's going to cast it, and he's basically going to cast like one part. He's holding one end of it, and it's just like a 6-inch to a foot dangling strip, and he's just going to kind of like dangle the strip in front of the teeth, like, "Here, little guy, have a treat."
Okay, well, it's you stick it onto the edge, and you're stuck to the other edge. By the way, you're complete. Well, of course, but you can just whisk it away with a thought, so that's not so bad. But yeah, now you have a flypaper like attachment. And sure enough, you fish it out of the water very easily because the adhesive carpet is very secure.
Well, I'm trying to do something slightly more complicated. I'm trying to get it to bite down on it.
Oh, that's going to be really difficult because the second it touches anything, it'll stick to it, right?
Right. That's why I'm trying to.
I understand. So we'll do like a roll to hit. So I want you to roll a 1d20.
You want to do a piloting check?
No, I got off the cycle.
Okay, you got off the cycle, and it's like a fishing line. So I want you to roll to hit. It's going to be called shot, and I'll give you a base +3 to hit. Okay?
Okay. No,
you miss it completely, and the adhesive carpet hits the water. It sticks to the water and starts to go downstream.
I will dispel it and cast again and try again.
Use your PPE, please, because this is important.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So that's going to be another 10 PPE.
Yep.
All right, I will try again.
Mm-hmm. This is amazing. When I thought this session, fishing for chattering teeth was not one of them.
All right, 17.
Hey, Opa, you hit it. You managed to put it like, you hover it a little bit, and sure enough, I don't know what it uses for eyes, but it catches sight of it, and it does chomp down on it. And it's stuck, and it can't open its little gleaming white teeth anymore.
And then Al will go, all right, little guy, we're going for a ride. And he'll...
It kicks its little feet angrily, I guess.
Al
It
will
looks
get...
angry.
Al will get back on the hover cycle and head back, but the whole time he's got his arm
Now
like,
you
fully...
need to do a piloting check to make sure that any strand of that doesn't hit your hover cycle, right?
Well, he's also going to, like I said, he's going to the whole time have his arm fully extended off to the side.
Sure, so it's going to be hard to pilot your hover vehicle,
Sure. Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So roll piloting, make it harder by 15 because you're doing it one-handed.
All right. It also says any piloting checks are a -10, so would that be 25?
You sure would.
All right. So then... Okay. I succeed by 40.
Okay. So, sure. Okay, wait. While we're doing this, I want to resolve the other two teeth with the bulk of the group here.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys... We got one in the net, and the other one is currently being distracted, but it's starting to go through like the fourth disc right now. Yasmin and Ezex and Basilisk are all fine with blowing this away, but it's clear that Patrick wants to try to trap it, so they're going to hold off. I think Lavin might be of a similar mind too, with his weapons still beaded on it, right? I'm assuming you're still beating on the free one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how do you guys want to entrap this other one?
Patrick does see the magic net. He has something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he would probably say, I think we should just get the cages first. We might be able to get lucky and have it wander in.
Okay. So you're talking about the big metal cages that you used in your Mars expedition, right?
I believe so.
See, ironically, if you you do still have them, which is so funny because I mean, Tyrath took the ones that were free for the, with the bugs in them, right? But there's still a couple empty ones left. And if you came back to orbit when you were supposed to, the Baron would have taken them back. But you didn't do that. you whisked away in the middle of travel. So yeah, you still have two of them. So we're going to say, for the sake of simplicity, the rest of the NPCs will help kind of scoot this thing along. Blink will get in her power armor, put this on the back of the ATV like you did on Mars, right? Scoot it down this little valley, plunk it down. And the chattering teeth that's still free doesn't seem like it wants to go towards it. It might need to be baited or something, because it's now kind of wandering along the edge. Actually, no. Wait. It's fixated on Blank for some reason, and it keeps following her. And she says there's no way in hell. Luckily, she can outpace it easily, but it is like fixated on her. And she says there's no way in hell she's getting in that cage with that thing.
It's just like...
Yeah. Perfect. Sound effects and everything. We got this session, everything. Yeah. How long does that Mystic Net last, Burn?
Let's see. Time-wise, it's going to be 2 levels per the spell level, 2 melees per the spell level of the caster. But if he's trying to cut through, it's just going to be 2 melees, so 30 seconds.
Oh God! So you're gonna have to keep casting this thing, or this thing's gonna chew through all the way.
Mm-hmm. That's completely fine.
That's fine. Okay. You have the PPE for it.
This doesn't require PPE.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mystic power armor.
Why? What kind of fucking noob GM gave you such a powerful piece of armor?
The best.
Damn Atlanteans are overpowered.
Oh my God! Stop.
Okay. All right. So you're able to just keep an eye on it and make sure it's constantly netted, but it will only last like 30 seconds.
Wait. So, wait.
Okay.
We're planning on keeping these on the ship.
Yeah. Yasmin says this is a fucking horrible idea. No offense, she says, looking like she doesn't care if she caused offense.
Hey, I don't know about you guys. I'm just making sure this doesn't move. Cast net.
Patrick does consider. So these particular cages, are they wired enough that like it's enclosed, or is this like barred so they can actually latch onto these?
If I remember, I do remember correctly. The design of these cages were of an extremely high density rare metal that, for lack of a better word, is like super powerful MDC.
Right.
It's completely smooth, and the only access point to there is a small, tiny viewfinder, only like an inch tall, that you can slide open and kind of look inside and make sure everything's okay. Otherwise, it's a completely dark black box.
He does consider it for safety reasons. These should still be completely safe to have on the ship. These
Blink
boxes
nods. They did cover giant, horrible, dangerous bugs.
Seemingly more dangerous than these. As much as I can tell from their bites, they do have a quite vicious one, but especially since I'm quite sure that magic net is of quite high quality. These are made to contain the most vicious of bugs for 4 months.
Yeah. Jalea grabs on to her robot helper companion nearby, and you can see its eyes swivel towards where the box is, and where the chattering teeth is, and where Patrick is. And she'll say, well, how about we put them in there now, leave them for the next day and a bit, and if they don't get out then it's a fair assumption to say they won't get out ever. If they want to break out, I'm sure they'll be able to do it in the next 36 to 48 hours.
Well,
right?
where are we keeping these? Do we need more than one?
My personal intent is these seem to be completely lost and without true mind, and we know almost nothing about it. If we hand these over to the greater minds of Tolkien,
You hear Yasmin snort a little bit when you say greater minds of Tolkien, but she doesn't elaborate. Sorry, she just snorts when you say that.
They might know where it's from or what to do with these.
Ah, what the hell, says Basilisk. Your ship, your rules. I like Julia's idea. Let's trap them, make sure they can't get out. And hell, if they do get out, we'll just land and hunt them down, right?
Hey over there. What's going on? Ellie's like poking her head out of the behemoth.
Which is a pretty far distance away, but she can yell really loud if she wants to.
Oh yeah, she's shouting.
Patrick will shout, but not at full volume because he knows that she has a bit higher.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting them in a box.
And at that time, Al comes on by with one of these things attached to his, to a magic string.
Yeah. Al writes up, anyone order some pearly whites?
Ezek's groans.
Patrick is about to say no and then goes, oh.
Al will get off the hover cycle, still keeping his arm outstretched with the little thing's feet kicking.
And Marla says, if it's any consolation, I will have to agree with Mr. Kinsman there. If it's an unknown factor, and if we take all precautions, it's best to study something rather than destroy it.
Lavin's going to try and use one of his tear gas pens to bait the one chasing Blink.
Oh, okay. Blink is
then-
very grateful because she's been kind of
Yeah.
trying to avoid this thing this entire time.
And then like
All
throw
right.
the pen into the cage and hopefully it goes in there.
Oh, so like one pen to bait it, or like you're using the one pen to distract it? Okay.
Well, but the same pen, like I'm going to like
Throw him
wiggle
one
the
and
pen,
then-
wiggle the pen in front of it till it's got its attention, and then throw the pen into the thing
Oh,
while
so
it's
you're
chasing
gonna
it.
be approaching it, and wiggling the pen in front of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
not close enough that it could bite it. Just trying to get its attention on the pen instead of Blink.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So you get in between it and Blink kind of gives a worried glance your way as you, sure enough, approach this little chomping, chattering thing. You wave it. You stand a good, we'll say about like 5 feet back. You wave your pen in front of it until you're quite certain when you move it to the left, it changes trajectory to the left a little bit. And it begins to follow you, waving this kind of pen around. And sure enough, you toss it whoop, in the cage, and the thing goes chasing after it. You hear a crunch, and then tear gas begins to fill the cage. And I'm assuming at that point you would probably close the door, right?
Guess so. Yep.
All right, you close the door, but this is a new item to you. You're not too sure how to latch it, but I'm sure one of the PCs will show you. If not, Blink can show you how to close it too. Once this thing is fully entrenched inside its large metal box, Blink kind of gives you a pat on the shoulder, and she says, "Thanks. I thought I'd be chased by that thing until, well, I don't know what, but thanks."
Al, standing 15 off to the side, still holding his, going, so could you open it back up real quick?
I suggest you stand back, Blink says, as she begins to get away from the...
Well, can we like roll it so that the opening's on the top, and then you could drop it in?
No, it shouldn't matter. I'm in body armor. It's fully environmentally sealed.
Yeah, but what if the other one gets out?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
Well,
Good point.
I like that. Well, good point, you bastard.
Fuck you then.
You do have a second cage. You guys could grab that. Too.
There's 4 teeth, so we gotta start probably 2.
Well,
in
no,
each one
there.
of them.
Oh, yeah, there is 4 teeth. Yeah, the one on the other side of the shore is still just complete.
I think turning it up
Plus-
on its side and dropping them in there would be less work than getting the whole other cage out. Because if I
Right,
remember, these
plus-
things are
Okay.
quite large.
You can just
Okay.
use your sticky stuff and
Okay.
do this
All
all
right.
at once.
Well, if you want to do that, we can. Let's not belabor this too much.
Mhm.
That's what you can do. You guys have the strength, the mystic power armor, and then Blink's armor can tilt the cage on its side. You open it up. The chattering teeth on the base of the cage is chatting around, and it is trying to jump, but thankfully, wait, let me check. Yes, thankfully, it's just not jumping high enough to get past the threshold of the top of the tank. Thank goodness for orbit engineering and making this thing deep. And sure enough, Al, using his magical adhesive carpet spell, is able to lure each of them and, of course, dispel the spell while he's over top the cage, and they all plunk in like chattering fish flopping around in a barrel.
So that would be 2 more uses of the spell, right?
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Okay. Got it. I'm down to 30.
Actually, 3 more uses, since you got to get the one that's stuck in Tom's net to and from the destination as well. Oh wait, no, just 2 more. Just 2 more. I
Okay.
can't count fucking teeth. Don't worry.
Okay. So I'm down to 30.
Good thing you're not a dentist.
Yeah, good thing. For many reasons.
So for the
Um,
one with the
mhm.
net that I'm constantly casting on him, I want to try and catch it as it, like, uncast the net, catch it as its teeth are closed, and hold it closed with both my hands, and then run towards the cage and just chuck it inside.
Okay, now you and I are gonna roll 1d20.
All right.
And you're gonna have your mystic power armor. Oh wait, your mystic power armor.
Superhuman strength of 24
Yeah, never mind. You managed
Bite
to hold
him!
it.
Bite him!
It's gonna try. It's gonna fucking fail, probably. Let's find out. Yeah. It tries to take a quick snap at you as you try to hold it closed. But you hold its mouth shut, and its little yellow feet kick again, assumingly angrily, and you rush it over to the box and throw it in.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay,
So
so I'm
all
down
the
to
chattering teeth. You only have to do one more now.
All right, so I'm down to 40 PPE.
Perfect. Of course, your PPE doubles in since you're by a ley line nexus, it doubles in recovery. So by the time you wake up tomorrow, you'll be fine. But who knows? There might be a fight or something. Who knows?
Right?
You never know. You never know. It's crazy risks.
There might be more teeth.
There might be more teeth. Anyway, sorry. So all the teeth are in the big metal box, and they'll be able to get back to the Rhapsody. But sorry, Ellie was calling over to Patrick to ask what was going on, and I did interrupt that RP.
Oh no, now she's just sort of wandered over. Like just bored. Like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see the group hauling over a big metal box, and even inside, especially with your super hearing, you hear 4 separate chattering noises clunking against the metal bin.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You also smell tear gas.
Weird.
Anybody got any candy? We could give him a cavity.
Why would you?
Ezek says, your jokes are no better than his, as he points over to Al. But with that, I can switch this more narratively. You're able to store the chattery teeth outside of the Rhapsody where it's normally been landing. We'll have like one of the NPCs like Bear or Blink or Ezek or Basilisk or whomever. We'll make sure to, very much like Lavin is kind of keeping an eye on where that small weird rock is buried. They're going to keep eye on the giant metal cage to make sure there are no breakthroughs. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
So anything you guys want to do or say or role play before we move on and pass the 3rd day?
Nope.
Not I.
Okay, that's
Nope.
fine. So the morning happens, and once again you do rest, and once again you guys do set up a watch. But there's nothing of great event. No being or force or predatory animal attempts to attack you or your group, and very similar to last night's rest. This evening you wake up fully refreshed with a calm and clear mind. No bad dreams. The final day, up until 1 o'clock, of course. Oh, sorry, it's around 1:30 when you buried this thing. Is there anything in particular you guys wanted to do during the day? Any interactions or anything like that? I have only one small interaction before the time is up.
What's the heat readings on the stone?
Oh, wait, now I gotta think about it. Cold in the earth.
All right.
Yeah. But if you do press your ear against the soil, you do hear the humming, and the humming sounds a little bit louder now.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Anything else? Don't feel like you need to. Just want to be fair.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So it's a small momentary interaction. We'll say during once again, the next day is just as clear and sunny and bright as the previous 2 days. Jalea approaches Al and she says, listen, Jordan, I still have a lot for me to mentally go through with everything. But I've had some time to think, and this place is pretty calming. And I want you to know that despite everything, she says, there are a lot of things we need to fix. There's a lot of things that we need to make right. But I guess I was too angry to tell you that I am glad I found you. You wasn't what I expected, but that's, well, that's neither here nor there. I'm just glad you're back in my life, as weird as it might all be.
Happy to hear that, more than you know. And
Yeah.
I may not have said it either, but I am damn proud of you. It was stupid to come after me, but to be so successful, I'm very proud.
Thanks. She said. I'll wrap that up. Just figured that sweet moment needed to be said, especially in such a calm and serene place.
Patrick would like to check through the slit.
You check through the slit. Unfortunately, the slit is about 4.5 feet up, and the chattery teeth are at the base of it, and it's completely pitch black in there. Thankfully, now at this point, all the tear gas has dissipated naturally. But you can't really see them very well. You see a little bit of movement. A little bit when they try to hop up a little bit, you kind of see the glimmer of white teeth through the light through the viewport. You just hear a lot of chattering, a lot of chomping. You don't see any exterior damage. They're just hopping around in there, kind of all crazy like. Yeah.
Lavin asks Patrick, what are you planning on feeding them?
Patrick closes the latch and turns to him. As far as I can tell from magical constructs, they don't usually eat, but they are teeth. And they don't seem to... from fish or even the discs, they just seem to destroy it and not really have it go anywhere. But I'm more impressed by... I'm assuming this is done through a magical spell. Maybe it is a ritual, but usually my own particular abilities only last a few minutes. I think I only have one that seemingly lasts for however long it takes. But these seem to still be going after 2 days.
Maybe they're not magic.
It could be robots, but they seem to be... They're usually too small for them to be of a robotic nature. And you know what? It never hurts to double check. Patrick will do sense magic.
Oh yeah, they're magic.
Yes, they're magic.
Easiest spell.
All right.
Okay. So in the early afternoon, gotta set the scene here. Stop me if it seems a little out of place. Bear, Blink, Ezex, and Basilisk have gone out on another small hunting venture, but more of a roaming idea. Both Yasmin and Jalea and her robot companion Mims have expressed a little bit more calmer, curious interest in the Rhapsody. And August will happily kind of give them a bit more of a detailed tour now that the tumultuous times have passed. McLaughlin and Alicia have continued to practice their landing and disembarking maneuvers, while Marlis has kind of stayed by Lavin by the tree since he's quite interested in whatever might happen. In addition, I'd like to assume that Tom, Ellie, Al, Patrick are accompanying, maybe they're not standing guard by the tree like Lavin is or lounged up against it, but are definitely within the next 100 feet or so of the tree itself. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I could detail what I would be doing, but it depends on one thing.
Sure.
Squee. Squee?
Squee!
Squee's dead now. He's mine.
We
now.
forgot
Sorry,
Squee.
I forgot I was muted.
Squee.
I
Yeah.
forgot I was muted.
So, did you actually tell Jalea about the hover cycle and the fact that you were giving it to her?
No, did not say. Al was smart enough to know that would look like he's trying to buy her off.
Yep.
So
Damn.
he is hiding that stuff till a better time.
Then yeah, he would probably be drawing, but drawing that
Oh,
bike.
okay.
Drawing the
what?
bike, drawing the hover cycle with the
Cameras.
the cameras and coming up with different designs of like paint jobs and that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Julie isn't around to see it, so that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's good. All
Julia
right.
can't see
Isn't she blind?
it. Yeah.
Well,
She can though.
she's
She can,
blind, but
though.
well, let's not spoil it too much. But she uses her robot companion. We'll just say in more than just as a. Never mind. Anyways, yeah.
Okay.
There's.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anywho, she can't physically see it. You're right with her eyes. Okie dokie. So I'll focus on Lavin, but like I said, everyone is in the general area here. Lavin, you're leaning up against the tree. You're resting the tree. Your mind's wandering again. But you know, this is around the time when you planted it. So we're going to say, is it fair to say that you're awake and alert at this point?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, all right. The earth begins to rumble, centered upon the point in which you planted that strange rock. It's at first a very, very small vibration, and you're the first one to notice it. It's like a vibration, some large creature moving underneath the earth, and you can feel the ripples from underneath. But it gets larger and more intense, and even Tom and Al and Ellie, who might be a good 50, 100 feet away from this central point, can start to feel it. You all can feel it underneath. It's not a full-on earthquake yet, but it's such an intense vibration. It causes the small pebbles and bits of grass to move and vibrate violently. Suddenly you can hear a rumbling from the earth, and a hill begins to form, almost like an anthill being pulled from the ground, pushing up, up, up in this cone shape till it's about 2 feet tall and erupting like it's a live being. Comes this, you can see flecks of dirt pushing off the top of this strange hill that is pulling and growing from the earth. And you see once again that same black coal-like stone. But something has changed with it considerably. Lavin's the closest to it, but all of you turning to investigate this strange occurrence can confirm there's something inside the stone, like a bright light, and you can see little flecks of it piercing through the cracks and corners of the stone. And it begins, that black crust around the stone itself begins to flake off. And Tom, your power to sense flame, to sense fire, normally it is an active ability, but this is so intense and so supernatural, you can feel it instinctively. It's like it's a hot, molten core burning fire from inside that tiny object. You can sense it in your own mind. And each of you, you're still awash by this supernatural good and calm, but you can feel the just energy in the air that's almost similar to the energy that rippled through the air when that nexus started to open up that portal to that strange laughing dimension. And in a matter of a minute, the black flecks of the stone begin to turn away, to burn away, to evaporate into the air, until finally it is a single tear-sharp shaped glass crystal that burns with a light so bright and so pure you almost have to turn away and not look directly at it. Suddenly, that light that is encased within it begins to beam outward like a flashlight towards the sky itself. And the emerald shatters in a million pieces, and something comes out of it. At first, it is a being, a creature, a form, a spirit made of pure light, pure white light, which then begins to turn into a vibrant yellow glow as it begins to take shape before your eyes. And as the light itself begins to twist and turn, it takes the shape of a simple 3-foot form. Now, to each and every one of you, it looks a little different. But in each of your eyes, it has these commonalities. It is a 3-foot tall being with these beautiful feathered wings, pure as white. They look like wings of a magnificent hawk. Its eyes do not have the regular pupils and irises of human eyes. Instead, they are pits in which flickering yellow flame erupts. And as its facial features, as its body contorts and forms, it looks like a child, a young child, perhaps 3 or 4, perhaps 5 years old, ruddy-cheeked, kind of like pudgy with baby fat around it, clothed in what appears to be simple white swaddling clothes, with its wings outstretched beyond it. The facial features to each of you looks different. I don't want to say or speak for your characters, but I like to think that each of your characters knew of either a family member or a dear friend growing up, or perhaps even yourselves, who were once this age, this simple, pure toddler, this simple, pure baby. And that face resembles that face in its own way. It gives this beautiful laugh, like tinker silver bells erupting the air, as it flies around the tree jubilantly before hovering before you a mere 50 feet away. Before it speaks, would anyone like to do or say anything?
That's peculiar.
That's
Allie's
peculiar.
just
Takes a
watching.
swig of his rye.
I was just gonna take a picture.
Al would say, like, probably come up next to Talia. Kind of looks like you. I mean,
Julia's not there. She's up in the raft.
oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. And Al would just say nothing.
Okay.
Tom quickly saves and opens up a new file and starts sketching this person immediately.
The childlike being, its wings fully outstretched before you, says in an exuberant, happy tone, very melodic, very easy on the ears, and it says, "You have freed me from a very long entrapment, you beautiful souls. Thank you, each and all." And it pauses for a moment. It tilts his head. "Although I sense struggle, problems, fractures within you mortals, you have done a great service in freeing me. First, I must give my eternal thanks. My name is Ambriel, and I will always be at your service. Please, do not be afraid. You are in a place of peace, of holiness and sacred duty, and I promise you no harm.
How come you were a rock?
I was trapped, encased in that rock. Me and 3 other of my brethren, brothers and sisters, fellow beings, were trapped in there by an old evil foe of ours. We are beings of a different level. None like you, we cannot be slain, only trapped and pushed out of the way. It was this enemy that entrapped us and encased us in an awful crystalline rock to interfere with our attempts to escape. And it brings 2 fingers up across its sky as it traces an imaginary line across its face. And as it does so, you can see a simple yellow line that turns into a small rainbow as it courses across the sky, as it says in its melodic tone, "We were hurtled throughout time and space for millennia until we fell here upon this planet. Far to the north is where we lied, dormant, quiet, within this meteor. An adventurous individual came and found me and quickly picked up what he thought was a mundane rock, but it was me calling out to him. But this was 200 years ago. My prison has been trapped on from person to person, and I have called out, sung out, imploring for freedom, until I finally found words, found ears who would listen. Your ears. Once again, I must give my thanks."
So, where are your brothers and sisters? You said there was 4 of you in the rock?
There was, and there still is. I can sense now, especially in this place, the beings of others similar to myself, and I know they have not returned home as they should. They are still trapped. It floats over to you, Lavin, and then to Ellie, and then to Patrick, and Tom, and Al. Its piercing yellow flickering eyes looking at you, not just looking at you. You can sense it's looking inside of you. To free them, I require champions. And although each of you, it, I guess, he, she, it, the being, looks over to Lavin, I sense within you a yearning for something greater, something bigger than yourself. Looks over to Ellie. I sense within you a fractured soul, seeking to find repair. Looks over towards Al. I find within you an inner conflict, an inner turmoil in which you are struggling to resolve. She looks over to Patrick. I sense to you endless curiosity and endless anxiety. And over to Tom. I sense in you a being beyond his own time and place. But that is perfect, it says as it floats in front of you. That is wonderful. No mortal is perfect without peer, and everyone requires a starting point before growing into champions of pure good. Becoming champions of pure light is not just a state of being, it's a state of action. I implore you, you have already done so much for me and freed me from an eternal imprisonment. Would you go one more? would you become my champions and free my other brothers and sisters?
Sure.
It smiles a wide smile, looking directly at you, Ellie. And you can sense its pure bliss kind of just washing against you like a wave of heat.
Ellie's sort of blinded by all of this, so
Sure.
she'll go along with anything.
Lavin would take his helmet off and take a long look at his bionic arm and then say, I have been looking for something more. I will help you.
I called to the right person. Thank you. And it pauses for a moment, and you feel a small warmth around your mind. You can resist it if you want, do you?
No.
Lavin Planter, you will be my champion. Looks over towards Ellie. And you feel once again a warmth within your mind. Do you resist it or not, Ellie?
Nah.
Nora, I accept you as my champion. Tom, Al, Patrick, do you do or say anything at this point?
Al would hesitantly look at the other two, and he would say, champions or not, I'm willing to help.
Yeah,
That is what? Sorry, no, go ahead.
We've helped many people, many beings in the past. I have no problem helping
with it
as well.
It floats on over towards Al as the being says, the willingness to act is the very definition of a champion of good, a champion of the light. Once again, you feel a warmth within your mind. Do you resist it or not, Al?
No.
Jordan Castle, I accept you as my champion. Quick, Tom, I can't remember your last name. What is it?
McClary.
McClary, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He, well, whomever, the being, floats on over towards in front of Tom. And she said, well, it doesn't really matter. However you personalize it as
Baby.
It's a baby. Yeah, the being. I only say she or he because you could be imagining a female or you could be imagining a male baby. Anyways, let's not get too nuts about this. They will go over to you, Tom, and she says, this will be nothing like those that you have helped in the past, although every soul that you have assisted speaks of your character. It is why I choose you. And you feel warmth in your mind. Resist. Do not resist.
Don't
He's
be
not
like
resisting.
everyone else.
Not resisting. And they say, Thomas McCleary, I accept you as my champion. Finally, the piercing, flickering yellow eyes of this 3-foot form, angelic form, 3-foot tall angelic form, flies towards Patrick.
Patrick stands up straight. Still generally wordless. Has many expressions, but most of them have not been of anger, more of he's at a loss. I think that's probably what you're getting from most of what's going on.
I can understand. This is pretty overwhelming.
I guess Patrick guy wants to make a good first impression. I guess
Okay.
he would probably try to cobble together a sentence in the language he's been trying to learn. How about a simple greeting? I think Patrick can try to do that.
And what's the language that you're speaking?
There was a specific language back in New Laszlo, was it? With the language teacher to specifically try to learn the beings of light's language.
Okay, all right. Oh, interesting. All right. So you say that in the greeting, and you see a small smile creep along this being's face. As it responds in a foreign language to the rest of you, but its sound before, like silver bells, is even more so in its native language, as it says in its tongue. A curious mind is more powerful than the largest weapon.
Patrick, not trying to push his
Vocabulary.
knowledge, will then revert back to his particular language and say, I've been always willing to help, and I've been trying to get better at acting, so if you may, I would like to be one of your champions.
Then it is done. It says in its celestial speech. Patrick Kinsman, you will be my champion.
And we get the warm brain thing. That's pretty cool.
Yes. It's because you spoke to it in its language. Definitely. And now you feel a warm thing. Okay. Good. Hey. Anyways. Damn it, Piph. You know what? I got a retcon or I'm gonna be bothered. You feel a warmth in your mind. Do you accept
Oh my god,
it,
it's real!
Do you reject the
No.
No, okay. Then it says, Patrick Kinsman, you will be my champion.
How
Okay.
fucked up would it be if Patrick's like, I do resist.
That's okay.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, being of goodness, you asshole.
How dare you? I could just tell you my name.
But with that, it says, then my champions, you will always find sanctuary in this place as long as you respect the sacred ground. There are many, when you venture forth, who will not believe you, who will spurn you, and perhaps hate you for what you do. But do not be disheartened, for what you do will be very great, not only for this planet, but for the cosmos itself. I have the utmost pride and faith in you. Open your minds, and I will give you a picture in which the meteor fell, and you may begin your quest. So, do you guys open up your minds?
No. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Fine.
Ellie thinks to herself, how do I open up my head? And like she's kind of like rubbing her head like, that sounds like that would be painful.
Patrick will do his best to, like most times where there has been psychic things probing him, let things happen to his mind at this point.
Ellie, speaking from my medical profession, I do not suggest you open your mind.
As she's like holding like her jaw and like her skull, just like
No,
ow.
My deepest apologies, says the spirit. It is, I suppose, an idiom that I thought would be understood. What I mean is, you will feel my presence. Simply relax, like the muscles in your body. I promise you no harm.
Al will
Come on in.
Al will attempt to relax like he does when meditating.
Sure. So I got a confirmation on Ellie, Patrick, and Al.
Yeah, Lavin's relaxing.
Okay, all right.
Tom is relaxing too.
Okay. Each of you get a vision. It is in the twilight of the northern climes. Everything is completely frozen, from the land to the ice around it. You see, however, embedded in this ice, this constant frozen expanse of what appears to be a massive, large rock, beige in color and pocked like a meteor. It is massive, and you only see the top 10% of this meteor, while the rest of it is hidden underneath the ice. It is larger than 5 castles, about as big and deep as the headquarters of the Northern Gun in Ishpeming. You look around in the expanse, and although you see a few white-capped mountains in the distance, it's mostly tundra and ice. And along with this vision of where these other spirits lay encased, you also get, for lack of a better word, an intuition of direction. You know it's north, far north, in the Arctic Circle itself. But much like a compass now that's been affixed to your head, you are now attuned to this meteor. And as long as you do not resist the memory, you could, as you travel, regardless of what vehicle or conveyance that you take, you'll be able to head towards there without effort or getting lost. Once that vision fades and the permanent memory of its location still burned in your mind, the being that introduced itself as Ambriel says, "This has lied dormant for 2 centuries in this earth, and if it were not hazardous, I'm certain curious individuals would have already plunged its depths. When I was there, I sensed a presence, although not corrupted and evil like the being that encased us. It is wild and territorial, and I'm afraid very large. Something has made its lair in the heart of this prison of ours, so you must be wary."
Patrick does a long stoic knowing nod.
Now, this chamber will be filled with crystals of 1,000 colors, but what you're looking for is something that is not crystalline, similar to the stone, the rock, the entrapment in which I was uncovered. My companions are in similarly mundane rocks. If you open your mind and listen to their songs yearning, you will locate them. Do you understand?
I think so.
Then, when you find them, return to this place and bury them like you did mine, and this consecrated soil, this link to our home, will do the rest. And with that, Ambriel says, I promise you, you will have earned your title as my champions and will be rewarded. This is just the beginning, and there is great troubles that will visit your realm, your planet. Freeing my brothers and sisters, we will be able to assist you in many ways that you might not know, and become an integral part in stopping this menace. I understand if this is intimidating or perplexing or confusing. So if you have any questions whatsoever, I will happily answer to you, my liberators, my champions.
I have plenty to ask, but I am
I can sense it.
unsure if it would be appropriate or timely to have all of those answered.
Time is a relative concept. There is only the willingness to ask, and you cannot offend me, my dear, sweet champion. Ask what you will.
Even so, this particular being says this. He doesn't want to ask it how it reproduces.
Okay.
That's our Patrick.
He does or he does not?
He does not.
Okay.
As much as this being assures him, you know,
Hey, we
he
cool.
has a sneaking suspicion.
Hey, we cool, dog. And then you say, yo, how you fuck? And
How
he's
you
like,
fuck? Baby fuck?
How
Then
you
it gives
fuck?
And then it gives you the look of, like, son, I am disappointed.
Yeah, there we go. It turns into a meme.
And flies away.
It's like, I don't need you. Fuck off.
No.
Never mind. Fuck you
It was
all.
just the weirdest thing. These people just freed me from this cage, and they just asked me how I fuck. I don't understand. Why?
Anywho.
Why would you do this?
Anywho. Digression aside.
I guess he'll probably just start rattling off questions like,
Okay.
what is your land? And,
Okay. I can answer that one first if you like.
alright.
Ambriel would answer that their land is not a traditional land where there is earth and sun and sky. It is more of a place. Dimension itself isn't even the right word. It is a good and pure center of all reality in which they exist. Unfortunately, that's all they can articulate, because anything else would just be beyond your own comprehension.
But seriously, I would have a lot of freaking questions.
Okay.
I might actually just have it to type
You
it
know
to
what
you.
we can do? Yeah, sure. You know what? So we're not dominating the entire session. What we can do is, like, we do a lot of retroactive information. You can ask me at a later point or out of character or whatever. So, but we can say for the next X amount of time, Patrick asks this being some questions. And then we'll answer as honestly and as appropriately as it can.
Mhm.
Okie dokie. But if anyone else has any other questions about your quest or the immediate problems or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess I should probably go with the more important questions
Okay.
as an actual question. Yeah. He would probably ask if they know anything more about the being of great power.
That entrap them?
He would definitely ask about that and the thing in the cave.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll ask about the thing in the cave because that's actually what you meant. That's me just not following. They will respond with, unfortunately, my awareness is limited while imprisoned, and reaching out with my mind only allow me to get. It pauses for a moment. Similar to just shadows or hazy forms when you look at things. When I sense it, I could not get the great details of its presence. Only a feeling. I know it is an animal without sentient thought or sentient morality. I know it is mortal. I know it is aquatic in nature. I know it is massive, easily over 50 feet long. That is all I am afraid. But there might not be any need for violence. You may be able to avoid the creature entirely. I do not know exactly where my fellow beings are laid imprisoned, but despite how massive the creature is, the meteor is even larger. Oh, and sorry, any other question?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, how do we get there? I mean, can a ship fly there?
It looks over up to the sky, and you know its positioning is almost exactly where the Rhapsody is probably currently hovering in the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, the knowledge of your craft is your own. I do know it is very cold, although in that area there are other mortals who survive and thrive without the need of technology. I am confident that if you were able to bring me here, you will find the ways and the resources in order to bring yourself to this meteoric prison.
And can others who are not your champions partake this quest with us?
Of course, of course. And in fact, they themselves will be champions as well. But for now, I require only the will and the need of the spirits before me. But this is not an exclusive quest. You will require much assistance where you are going, for no individual is truly alone in this entire universe, in this entire reality. We are all connected to each other in one way or another.
I understand.
I guess that since this is at least an important question,
Sure.
Patrick definitely would still ask about the one that entrapped them.
For the sake of your mortal minds, I will not speak its true name, for even so will not give it power in this place. Its reach and its foulness is too great to impact your minds. I will say this. For as long as reality has existed, we were born before all of creation was made, and its blackness was present before all of creation came into existence. This evil is the most pure, most ancient form, and it pauses for a moment, and for the first time it looks disturbed. And it ever hungers for more. But it will be stopped. By mortals, by immortals, by beings of every power in every element of reality. Do not set your thoughts on such cruelty, such foulness, such utter evil. Think only of the good, for that will be your refuge.
I have no other questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have any more
Excellent.
important questions.
Excellent. It says, and we'll look at you one last time. And before it departs, if you allow it, we'll place a simple, pure kiss upon your foreheads. And when it does so, that warmth that was in your mind, as long as you accept the embrace, that warmth was in your mind covers through your entire body, throbbing in this wonderful little moment before it departs, and with a final bell-like tone says, although my form will not be here, I will sense you when you return to this place. And it begins to fly, dancing in the air joyously, free as a bird and as happy as a fairy, towards the nexus center. And for a brief moment, there's a small flash, another ripple of energy before it departs. But even though it departs, that memory of the place where you need to go still is in your mind, and that warmth begins to soak down into your bones. And your resolve is slightly stronger. Each of you get a permanent +3 to save versus horror factor.
Damn!
Wow.
Okay.
Good.
Wow.
I fear nothing, a little less now. More. I mean, a little more.
You're gonna need it.
Oh no! I regret
I
everything.
take it back. I don't want to be your champion.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
I don't like the cold. Find someone else.
Why are you in my cave? Well, a shiny baby with wings told me to. Pick up 3 stupid stones that look way less pretty than these stones.
She also said that we can have, these gems here and here and here.
We
No.
pick these up, we go over to a tree, and we plant them until other babies are born.
Oh God.
That's how babies are made, right?
Oh my god, you guys are ruining my campaign.
You know what's funny is Ellie totally could think this is how babies are made
Of
now.
course. Oh, come on, she's not that naive. Well, I don't know about that personality.
See?
Anyway.
I'll never tell.
I'll never
Exactly.
tell.
So I
It's not
think
fun in that.
I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up the session. Of course, the other NPCs will come back. In fact, the first ones to come back will be Blink, Bear, Ezex, and Jordan, because they saw the bright light when the gem showed up, right? And they actually did manage to witness this strange spirit, this ambriel, fly off into the sky and enter into the nexus point. So, of course, they themselves have some questions, as does Marlis Dotch, who has been watching completely and utterly agape, like he is like paralyzed from all this. So of course we don't have to get into the nitty gritty unless you guys really want to RP with the NPCs. but you we can say that you bring them up to speed on everything that just happened.
Yeah.
Inferno, there was one more very important question that might
Okay.
be wanted to set in this.
I said the retroactive thing, so
Yeah.
it's all good. What's up?
I was just kind of going through all of them. I'm like, yeah, this is probably going to take too long. And then I hit on one. I'm like, oh, I should probably ask that now. Which was, we were informed during this particular we're informed that showers of treasures and whatnot would be given to give appeared in such places. Was that a tactic you used to help yourself out of the situation you were in?
Ambriel would answer, not in the slightest. Treasures, what is truly valuable in this reality, is not material being, but instead moral goodness. Although I have not showered you with everything that I could, your actions will bring about the greatest treasure there is, which is the preservation and protection of all life.
Got it. That was out of character, by the way.
Sure. No worries.
Neat.
That did make sense, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just
Good,
wanted
good,
to
good.
I'm sure there's some other people after the session wait a second, was there supposed to be a shower of gifts of some kind?
Listen,
Dude,
do you want your permit +3 to horror factor or not?
dude, I'm not sure
If
if
I
you
say
guys
no, will I still need it?
like. I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but they also mentioned that we can come here and be safe whenever we wish.
Yep.
So that's a thing. We have a pseudo home base here in this.
You have a
I would say
sanctuary.
a sanctuary, yeah.
Yeah,
an
sanctuary.
actual just.
Can you imagine if you start billing channel?
Oh my god.
Oh my
Sorry,
god!
what the? He just taps on a wall that's being built up. What are you doing? Oh, we're building a house. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, don't do that.
You are not
guess-
allowed. Thank you.
It gets super passive aggressive and be like, yeah, I guess that's cool, even though I didn't say it was okay.
Oh,
Think that's the
good.
best thing you want to do.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry,
gonna
but
put in
you
a
said
pool.
champions are defined by actions.
Oh my god. I'm glad this isn't a real thing.
It's really sad very quickly.
Anywho, is there anything you guys would like to do before we wrap things up?
No, I'm good.
Okay, sweet. So we'll start next session with with the adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Adventure.
More adventure at least.
More
man.
adventure.
I'm super excited.
All right. Should I stop the stream there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.